Welcome to Paranormal Central, broadcasting live from Central California with your hosts Jeffrey Gonzalez and Alan Thomas. Broadcasting video worldwide at ParanormalCentral.net and broadcasting audio on the Dark Matter Network at ArtBell.com. Are you ready to witness something you cannot explain?
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Paranormal Central, broadcasting live from the bottom left-hand corner of the Nevada Triangle in Fresno, California. Welcome everyone, wherever you may be. My name is Jeffrey Gonzalez. I am your host. Seated to the right of me, my co-host Alan Thomas.
Hello everyone.
Tonight, it's all about ghosts, spook. We have an author tonight coming on, actually two of them. They wrote a book about a haunted location in the Mammoth Lakes area, which is just east of Fresno, California, and we're going to be talking to them live and talking about their book. So that's why we are Spook Central tonight, not Paranormal Central.
Yeah, we borrowed some stuff from Disneyland. No, I'm just kidding.
So welcome everybody. Again, my name is Jeffrey Gonzalez. If you're tuning in right now on live stream, you are watching us right now. I hope you're getting the full effect just like we are in the studio. We're having a blast just like little kids. Absolutely. And if you are listening to us on Dark Matter Network at ArtBell.com, we're going to be showing some pictures tonight. And you can view them on the ArtBell.com website at Paranormal Central the Paranormal Central Bigfoot Report, that is. And we're going to be talking to Danny Valderrama, and I'm trying to turn down the volume. Oh, there it is. Jeez. So we are going to have a blast tonight, and I hope you stick around because we're going to have some fun tonight. We're also going to take phone calls if you have any ghost stories, and please don't make anything up. Okay? Just if you have any real good stuff, then I want you to call in. I'm going to be giving you guys the phone number in a little bit, so you can call in after we talk to our author for tonight for the Mammoth Poltergeist book. So right now, we don't have Emerald. It's Mother's Day, so she is home with the family and the grandparents. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get the studio ready for Spook Central. We're going to have some fun tonight, guys. That's all it's to it. We're going to have some fun tonight. So, all right. Again, my name is Jeffrey Gonzalez. If you are listening to us for the first time, welcome. Usually we have the studio really lit up, but we're not doing it right now because we want to get the atmosphere where we want it, and I think the ambience is where we want to keep it at. So hope you enjoyed, hope you like it, because there's going to be plenty more of this later on in the future. Different shows, different topics. You know how it is. We're like a couple of little kids here, and that's just the way it is. So all right. Thank you for showing up. We've been broadcasting this show going on 7-8 years now. I'm also the founder of a group called the Sanger Paranormal Society. Have been investigating the paranormal for over 13 years. We're just not, talk show host. Been investigating Bigfoots and UFOs and ghosts and haunting conspiracy theories. We do it all. And the reason why we started this is because we just had so much stuff that we wanted to show you guys. And I think this is the avenue to do it. So I hope you enjoy it. We're going to go ahead and get a hold of Danny Valderrama. I'm going to be calling him myself because our engineer obviously is not here right now. And she is home with the family, which is cool. Yeah, she's fired regardless, but it's
she
cool.
gave us a bunch of jobs, so we all have a little job to do today. In fact, I won't be on chat. I don't have the iPad tonight. We were kind of...
I completely forgot. I spaced it.
Yeah, but we were like playing with all these toys in here. I hope you guys are enjoying it. It is so fun.
So, all right, we're gonna go ahead.
I probably laugh for half an hour. I still want to.
What?
Huh?
Huh?
Hello?
Danny, you there?
Danny.
Yeah, I was waiting for Emerald to answer.
Oh no,
Oh.
Emerald's not here.
Okay. What the heck was up with that beginning? That was cool.
What was cool?
We're in Disneyland, man. No.
So
Like I was on the Haunted Mansion ride.
that's exactly what we want to have the ambience of here in the studio. You should be here in the studio, dude. It's scary.
Yeah, it's
Man,
pretty fun.
I'm too scared.
You are scary. Looking. Everybody, if
See,
you
that's
don't-
Danny on the wall behind us. No,
that's right. So,
I'm just kidding.
for all
Happy
those
Mother's Day, ladies.
For all those who don't know who Danny Valderrama is, he is our Bigfoot reporter. Have been giving us the Bigfoot report for how long, Danny? How long have you been with us, dude?
It's been like over a year already.
Really?
Yeah.
I've had it with here. I've
Year
had
and
it
a
up to
half,
here with you.
probably.
Huh?
I'm ready to quit.
That's absolutely. You're out of here. I'll
Yeah,
find
but
something.
what everybody doesn't know is Danny goes with us
Yeah.
on all the research, and that's been going on for what, like 6 years or something like that?
Yeah, too long.
Right.
Something like that. You never see me because I'm the one taking the pictures.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and,
the really
and
killer
for all those
pictures.
who saw the Monsters and Mysteries episode today, we put it on the wall. He's the black guy.
Just on TV.
Just on TV. So, all right. Well, Danny is going to be talking about Bigfoot here, and we're gonna have, we're gonna put up photographs here at live stream, and we're gonna let you here watch them or look at them. Excuse me, I'm having a good time here. I've got so much things going on here that I got the volumes and the video and. Huh?
Did you work today?
Is it gone?
No, it's off.
Okay.
And yeah, I worked today. That's the only thing. I was rushing home after work to get all this stuff ready, and we did it. A couple of minor technical difficulties, but it's okay. So, anyways, we're going to be showing Danny sent over some photographs that he's going to be talking about, and I'm going to be putting them up one by one for those who are listening to us at the Dark Matter Network at artbell.com. Yeah, you know what? Art Bell website is broadcasting our feed worldwide HD quality to the world on artbell.com. How cool is that? All right, that's just way too cool. So, even cooler is Danny's photographs are on Art Bell's website right now on the homepage, marked Paranormal Central. Yeah, believe it or not.
Whoa.
That's so cool. So for those who are watching us right now or listening to us at the Art Bell, you can always just go to the homepage really quick if you want to take a look at the photographs. We're going to be talking to them, talking about them one by one, and I'm going to put them up one at a time here on my screen. Okay, now since I got all that out of the way.
Take a breath.
No, man, I'm just too excited here. All right, we're going to go ahead and go with number one, and we have a statue. Oh, yeah, I remember this. Go for it. Okay, picture number one is up.
All right, this is picture number one from Springfield News Leader. This is from May 6th of this year. This is from a taxidermist, Ken Walker, who has no doubt Bigfoot is real. Now, he's not just any taxidermist. Walker is a Smithsonian National Museum of Natural History taxidermist expert.
Wow.
So he would never gamble his reputation with false claims. So he became fascinated with Bigfoot 30 years ago when he had his own sighting. He was in Alberta, Canada, when something ran in front of his, across the road that he was driving on. And he was in the middle of nowhere, so there was no cars, no people anywhere, and it was during bear season. And whatever it was ran across the road on two legs, and then he saw it run up a hill without slowing down, just effortlessly running up the hill. So knowing the exact details that he puts into his work, his friends have been urging him to create a lifelike Sasquatch.
Mm-hmm.
So picture number two.
Well, that picture right there, if you made that fur black, that's exactly what I saw.
Yep.
Only a little more buff. It didn't have boobs, and it was a little more buff, in the shoulder, but only, man.
Now, how tall is that?
This one right here, it stands 6 feet 6 inches tall,
Oh, okay.
and it's a thick reddish fur, gorilla-wide body, black eyes. This is exactly what he saw across the road in front of him.
There you go.
And if you were at the World Taxidermy and Fish Carving Competition in Springfield, Missouri on Friday and Saturday, you saw it too, because that's where it was.
Oh, wow.
So picture number three. he has his own taxidermy shop, and he's had many people come in and tell him similar stories. And when he first saw it, he wasn't a believer. He had no idea what he saw. But over the 30 years that he's been dealing with this, he said it's nothing else that could have been but a Bigfoot. He's finally come to realize that he did see a Bigfoot. So he sculpted the beast's body out of a hard foam, and the skin and the long reddish fur are from a Scottish Highland cow that they attached to that. So that's what it's made out of. And then if you go to picture number 4, you can see the features moving a little closer. He's got large hands and feet.
See, now where is that at? Is that that doesn't look like the same color as the other one?
It is.
Yeah, it's just
different
probably
lighting.
Just the lighting?
It's the same pose, so it's the same thing.
So
It's just
so where is this?
by the lighting.
So does he have this in his shop, or is it someplace?
He made it for this competition that is
got it.
out there. I don't know what category he entered in. I read there's like 20 different categories, but I don't know if he entered in for competition to see if he could win something.
Okay.
But
See,
he's at
this-
the World Taxidermy
this
and
is
Fish
what I
Carving Competition in Missouri, but I don't know if he's going to display it somewhere else. Maybe once they finally say it's real, maybe you can put it in the Smithsonian. They use him a lot. That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome. See, this
He
this
got
is,
the face right, like the way it's furry up to its nose like that, and just skin around its eyes. That's just exactly right.
Yep.
That's what I
You can see that
saw.
this one is a female.
right.
Yeah.
See, this is
And
what I
it
would
has
like.
large hands and feet.
Eventually, one of these days, my goal, my dream, is to have one of these at the Fresno Airport near the Sierra trees. That's
the
what my
trees?
yeah. That's what my dream is. My goal is after we successfully hit TV.
One day we'll have to show a picture of that.
I
on
have
here.
I have pictures on my phone.
Yeah, I mean later on we'll we'll do it and do it right and put it on Art Bell.
Yeah. So, but anyways, yeah. Okay, very cool.
Yeah, you can see the hands go down to the middle of the thigh. There's no neck, large hands and feet. It's just a huge head with human features.
Yeah.
And if you look closely, it looks so real. There's a man coming up behind it with a table. He's going to get ready to hit it to protect all the villagers there.
Okay.
Oh, I see him.
Take the beer away from him.
It's pretty cool.
Hold my
No,
beer.
you know what? I am. You know, with this Kevin Smith, that the guy who's making mine right now.
Uh-huh.
He had not contacted me back.
Call us, Kevin.
Kevin Smith, are you? I mean, right now, for those who don't know, I'm having one of these built for our studio right now. That's going to look, hopefully, probably not like this. I mean, each sculpture, each person has his own, you know, way of making their whatever Bigfoots. But I'm having one made. It's going to be 7 feet tall, and it's going to be placed here in the studio for TV and for the show that we have now. I've already given him a deposit. Supposedly he has something going on with his legs or something, and he's not mobile right now. So
I know the feeling. Yeah.
Dropped off the face of the
but
earth.
yeah, exactly, that's scaring me. But you know, we've already shot 5 episodes for the TV show, and we're shooting 3 or 4 more next weekend.
Right.
And see, now the statue is not going to be here for that. So all right, okay, next.
Yeah, we'll give it a lightning rod. You know, it could hold a lightning rod. Yeah.
Fleur.
Oh
Yep.
no!
A new FLIR coming out.
Is that like for a phone or is that an actual?
No,
unit?
this is an actual one. This is on the Kentucky Bigfoot page. Joe Belieu put that up, and it's introducing the new FLIR C2. It's a powerful, compact thermal imaging system. It's pocket-sized. It looks like a phone, but it's its own unit. There is no phone in it. You can find it with this one. You can find hidden heat patterns, energy waste, plumbing clogs. It has very high pixel resolution, 4800. The field of view on it is 45 degrees. It has its own technology of image enhancement that shows you actual pictures of what you're looking at instead of blobs, you know, on the other cameras.
Right.
You can just see blobs. This one is so high resolution that you can actually see what you're looking at, so you don't have to guess.
So it has like definition to it instead of.
It
like
has total
blurry.
definition. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can see that on picture number 2.
Oh. Nice, Danny. I like this one, man. A pocket thermal imager. Wow.
So you can watch it in real time on the screen, or you can hook it up to a laptop and you can have the streaming video over USB. So you can carry that around while you're walking around.
I wonder if it would record, like you could record it to something.
It can record. It's got a ton of stuff on it. Picture number 3 shows that it's a touch screen.
Oh, man.
You can hold it straight up or sideways, horizontal or vertical, and it'll adjust to it just like a phone.
Oh, okay.
So you can hold it either way. On the back, it has an LED spotlight, so you can use it as a flashlight. Or if you're going to take a picture, you can use it as a photo flash.
So what's the damage, you know?
Yeah, I'll get to that.
I have a feeling
it's nothing for Jeffrey, but for the rest of us.
Ah.
Huh?
It's 2-year parts and labor, and the detector itself has a 10-year warranty on it.
Wow. That's cool.
So it can hold up to 500 pictures. It runs for 2.5 hours, and it takes an hour and a half to charge.
Ooh,
Weighs less than a pound.
Less than a pound.
Yep.
See, that's the bad part about it right there. You only get it. I mean, for those who go squatching in the mountains, you're up there more than 2 hours at a time, and you're always hearing things. So this thing has got to be on constantly, and if it's going to only last you 2 hours, then it's not good enough, guys. Now,
But
I went.
Jeffrey buys one for each of us. Where's that?
Oh, shut up. I went and bought the one for the iPhone, and you can purchase extra battery stuff like that for the iPhone to recharge and all that kind of stuff, which I have. So I don't know. How much is this?
Picture number 4.
Still
It shows all the
dragging me
features
out,
on it.
dragging me out. Okay, hold on. Where is
You know,
it? Oh, that is
actually,
picture number 4, right?
If it charges with the little mini USB, like all cell phones, right? You could actually buy those little batteries and charge them up,
See, that's what I have.
and you know,
Swap 'em out.
you never unplug it, right?
Right,
You just,
you keep the USB port plugged in
Right.
all the time.
yeah, and it never discharges
right.
the battery.
Matter of fact,
on the
I just
phone.
purchased one, and it's not here, but you install 4 AA batteries, and actually I took it with me the other day, and I kept it plugged into my iPhone, and it kept it charging, forever. So
So I have one, and I carry,
there you go.
and then you just it'll charge up a whole cell phone in like 30 or 40 minutes, complete charge.
Right.
And you
Grand
put it in
total
your pocket and
to be
everything.
yours
Grand-
for only $699.
Ouch.
That's not really bad, really.
No, it's high technology on there. It's better than anything that they have out.
It's only like 200
for
more than the
consumer.
iPhone.
For a consumer. But you still, well, what about the handheld, the big one? And I don't know what the model number is,
They're like-
but
they're
those things
like-
are
Those are
about
like
4 grand.
1,500.
No, those are about 4 grand.
For $4,000. That's the one that has the video out where you can record on a.
Or you can take it to
Yeah.
a monitor or whatever.
Right.
That's what I will.
If you go any
really
lower
indicate.
in price, you don't get that audio, the video out.
Right.
But it'll still record on the SD card, but only not. You can't look at it.
Right. Okay.
still,
well,
even that's not
$700.
really
That's
that
not
bad.
No, it's not
Yeah.
that. It's not bad at all. I mean, compared to 4
overtime.
grand. So. Okay. All right. Next picture is the dog, right?
The
Jeffrey's
dog.
the
This has
king
been
of
everywhere.
He's the king of the jerry rig, so he probably could jerry rig that thing to work all night long.
Battery after battery after battery. So. All right. Now, I heard about this. I actually saw the pictures and read everything about this.
Was that the one that was impaled on the stick?
Yeah.
These dog is rescued after being found impaled on dangling from a tree. And these are pretty graphic images.
Okay.
It happened in Guatemala Island in South Carolina.
Okay. So, what part is it impaled? Is it impaled near the
The
butt?
back leg.
That's where it's so that big old long limb that it's hanging on is through its body.
Has something else. No, not that big, not the whole thing. I think there's more sticks or something, or another branch near the end there that probably went through his leg or something.
Okay. Okay, well,
Yeah.
if that's the case, then I can see it running up from left to right, and it slips, and it impaled itself, and as it's come down, the head went right into that bottom branch.
At 15 feet up or something like that, right?
That's a good
But
possibility.
yeah, it was found hanging 15 feet in the air in a marsh. And this guy heard the dog barking nonstop over the weekend, but it wasn't until Monday that he went out there to investigate.
Right.
And it was a terrier mix kind of dog. hanging from the limb. And it's a pretty big dog. It's not a small dog at all.
Right.
The animals control got him out of there, and they carried him on a stretcher out to their little ambulance or whatever they had, and they got him back there. They estimated that he'd been out there for 24 hours, just barking nonstop, and the barking is what saved his life.
Right.
Oh,
Nobody
he's
would have had him
alive?
out there.
Yeah.
What?
Well, next picture.
What the heck? I thought he was
You know,
dead.
they're saying that the stick didn't go into the wall of his stomach or puncture any of his intestines, so that's also what saved him too. He was just stuck up there. But he is in critical but garden condition.
Right. Is this area known for Bigfoot?
I was going to check that, but I didn't have enough time.
Oh, man.
It's all 50 states, so or
That's
49
true.
states.
That is.
Except Hawaii. So
Oh.
I'm pretty sure.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
Cliff Brackman, I was listening to him last night on a radio show, and he was saying that they're everywhere. Pockets of Bigfoots in every state. And I believe it, you know. I mean, I've read zillions of reports. I mean, they're everywhere, for reals.
Right. I believe it. I mean, look at Sanger. I mean,
Yeah.
people, when you're asleep, you guys, there's a whole other world out there that's going on when you're in bed,
Yeah.
when you're asleep.
That's for sure. Sometimes it's in
And
your
they are
house.
saying that he probably ran up the tree chasing something and slipped and fell and got impaled. Yeah, but we've heard stories of a Bigfoot killing dogs.
Yeah.
Even that 911 call that the guy from Washington made, where he saw one standing in his backyard and he was calling, but he didn't want to say it was Bigfoot. And they had asked him if anything else was going on at his house, and he said, "Yeah, a couple days ago,
Oh, yeah.
my dogs were killed. I
Right.
saw them come flying over the fence." You know, these things are capable of killing dogs. And I'm not saying that that's what happened to this dog, but
Right.
I have seen a Rottweiler climb a 6-foot fence. I mean, this dog was trying to get me, and he was behind a fence. I thought I was safe.
Mm-hmm.
The Rottweiler climbed a metal fence, and as soon as he jumped over that fence, I was back in my truck.
Running him
That
over.
was crazy.
Wow.
I didn't know he was capable of doing that, but if they want it, they'll get it.
They'll get
I
it.
used to have a German Shorthair that he could break anything, even a cage. You put him in a cage, 2 weeks. He'll figure out the cage and get out. You know, I mean, it was crazy. And he could climb too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it could have climbed the tree. I mean, I've seen him climb. But 15 feet, that's kind
Pretty
of...
high.
That's pretty high.
I mean, if this tree is straight up and down, he didn't climb that.
That's pretty darn high. Not
Yeah.
unless there was other branches coming up on the bottom of that. But you know what? I don't know, man.
15 feet's big, high.
15
Only
feet
the
is high.
dog knows, and he's not talking.
We'll have to get the dog
I
whisperer.
tell
in
you
here.
that'll give him a female dog and we'll make him talk. Uh-oh.
Right.
I can't have
Time to scare some people.
it. I didn't.
Oh, turn off the thunder.
Okay, we're gonna lower the thunder a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. Next picture is the dog.
The dog. It should be the dog. That's the last story.
Right.
That's the same one?
Yeah, same
That's
dog.
the same dog.
Man, what a lucky dog. I wish he could talk, because I would like to hear how he got on that tree. Like, man, this big old hairy guy grabbed
Well,
me and
did
just...
the owner come? Did the owner come forward to?
The dog has a chip in him that they found, so
Uh-huh.
they're trying to contact the owner. through
Okay.
that.
Well, the owner could say, "Yeah, my dog loves to climb trees." As soon as he says that, then all bets are off at the
Mystery
Bigfoot.
solved.
Yep, all bets are off at the Bigfoot. It's up to the owner. Whatever the owner says. Yeah, my dog can climb 20 feet and go
Yeah,
after
but
squirrels.
even though they're chipped, it doesn't mean that the owner is still the owner. Because we just picked up a dog, that was all messed up on the street, and it was chipped, and we found the owner, and they said, oh, like 3 years ago, we gave that dog to somebody, and we don't know who the owner is now. So we're trying to find it still, find the owner.
Wow. Pretty soon we'll all have chips in us, so
Yeah.
Not me. They're not going to chip me.
you probably already have one.
No kidding.
I heard when you do surgeries, they put them in you, but as far as I know,
Well,
with
you're
my-
going under the knife here
Yeah.
pretty soon.
Yeah, that's a scary
I'm
one.
gonna pay off the doctor to put something in your leg. You watch. a magnetic tape. So every time you go to Walmart, beep,
Tell him, I want a shock collar put in him.
thief.
Yeah.
Strip search. I'm going to go with you, dude, every time. Dude, I saw him. I swear he put something in his pocket. It's right there. I saw him. Take him back there.
Really, when they
Dirty
do the
old-
hand one, it's like
Dirty old man. Okay. All right. Oh, yes. Like
All right.
All right.
Time to scare some people.
Yeah, okay. Well, all right, dude. Thank you very much, and we will talk to you next week.
All right.
See you later,
happy Mother's
Danny.
Day.
Okay, see ya.
Yeah, it's almost time to go squatching too.
Yeah.
I hope I'm like able to.
Pretty soon here. So I think I was going to call them in about 10 minutes. So let's inform everybody of what we're going to be doing here pretty quick. Somebody sent me an email a while back, and I've been meaning to get them on the phone to talk, only because this piqued my interest because the book they wrote was about the facility in Mammoth Lakes, right?
Yeah, Mammoth Mountain.
Mammoth Mountain, which is what, about 2.5, 3,
It's actually about like as the crow flies from us 60 miles about.
60 miles. Okay.
As the crow flies.
Okay.
But if you're
And
driving
if
it,
you're
it would
driving,
take you,
okay, 2.5
4 hours.
Oh, that long. Okay. Well, this facility, I guess there are like condos that you can rent up there and stuff. And this particular is, well, I don't want to say just one. Who knows about the whole area? But
But it's actually, I think it's pretty famous as a ski area anyways.
Okay.
'Cause, I mean, it's like one of the main ski areas. They come out of L.A. and San Diego and everything and go
Right.
skiing there.
okay. All right. So it's piqued my interest only because this is right in our backyard, and I read a little bit of the book. They sent us a PDF copy. I sent it to Alan, and Alan, since Alan is, he can take the time and read this stuff because he's home all the time. You read pretty much almost the whole book.
Yeah, and I didn't get maybe the last 5 pages.
Okay.
you know.
And what I understand, last night you were pretty much pooping in your pants.
No, it was actually like a few days ago. If this would have been going on, like all this, I would have not slept for a couple days. I mean, it was kind of scary.
So it's a good
Yeah.
read. So okay, so we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna get a hold of them in a couple of minutes, maybe about 5 minutes, 10 minutes. We're gonna call them and we're gonna talk about the book, and the stuff that you are basically witnessing behind us sort of kind of happened over there. I think, right? Maybe like things moving around, floating in the air.
Well,
and-
things got moved.
right.
I mean, like immovable. That like all the whole family couldn't budge what was moving,
Mhm.
and it would move in a split second. They heard a crash and they ran in and something moved, right? So then they shut the door and they heard a crash. I mean, that fast, like as fast as I'm saying it. And they opened up the door and then this huge thing was, in the middle of the room. And then they all tried to move it back. I think it was a pine, made out of pine logs, and it was a bunk bed.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a big giant one, and all 4 of them together couldn't move the bunk bed. So they just left it in the middle of the room. And then they went back, and then a few minutes later, they heard, some more noise. The thing is, they didn't never hear the bed move. They heard something else that would draw their attention.
Oh, I see.
Then when they opened it up, then the bed was blocking the door, and then they
Right.
couldn't open the door.
Right.
So it was a real
Cool.
I mean, and that was just only some of the stuff. I mean, the thing, they saw it like a cloud, and it would be filling the whole room of this weird cloud,
Mm-hmm.
and it was making them all have a different personality. I mean, it was
Road trip.
a trip. Yeah,
Road trip.
this would be a fun one to go to because
Yeah, I can see us
Yeah.
setting up shop and setting up the cameras and go to town, see what we can do. But we'll have to talk to them and see what the availability is in this particular condo and if that's the situation. But
I don't know how long the book was written. I didn't check that part, but
Mhm.
it was owned by some company, and the only people that really could use that condo was the company would give them permission, or it was like
Right.
a reward thing, like, hey, you did a good job, go to the ski resort on us and stay in our condo, and they just have the guy's mom worked for the company, and they said, you got it. And they were there for like a week. They got snowed in, And on the way in, they were even feeling like the kid or the guy, the main guy, he was feeling like it was like The Shining. You know, as he was coming in, it was snowing, and then when they got there, you know, it snowed him in, and he just felt like it was The Shining even before it even started. You know, he was already scared.
Well, you know what? Heck with it. Let's just go ahead and call them right now. So Jenny and Tom, we're gonna go ahead and give you guys a call right now.
I think it's Tom Rosser. He was the one that this thing followed, even after they left. You know, it followed him throughout his life. I don't know about nowadays. You know, I didn't. If that was in the last few pages, you know, I didn't catch that.
All right.
But it was a good, scary story. And I was thinking the same thing, like, man, you know, let's... But I think you can't get there unless you drive over the Yosemite route, or you have to go all the way around Tahoe like that, like, or down... I mean, it's not...
Hello?
Hey, Jenny?
Yeah, that's me.
Hey, this is Jeffrey, Paranormal Central. How's it going?
Hi.
Good.
Hey, Jenny.
Hey,
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. All right, well, you're on the air now, so... You are on the air.
All right.
All right. So
All right.
is Tom there too, or just you?
Tom's here too. He's right here.
Okay, right on. Okay. Well, let's get to it.
Okay.
From what I understand, your book pretty much scared Ellen.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
good. That's good.
So
I'm glad
I
it
shouldn't
did.
have read most of it when right before bed. That was...
Yeah.
you know.
Probably not a good idea.
But it was a good read for reals. I mean, it held my attention, and in some places, you know, it had me, because it was dark, it had me looking around, you know, like, wow. You know, I hope this thing doesn't get me because I'm reading it, you know.
You big sissy. Big sissy.
Well, I mean, that was the main thing that attracted me to the story and made me want to write about it. I mean, when Tom told me about it, because I'm a fiction writer mainly. You know, I've published several horror fiction, but he told me the story, and you know, even though I was like pretty skeptical about it, I was like, God, that would make a great book. I was like, do you mind if I, you know, write about that? And he was like, okay. So that's kind of how it came about.
Does it still like bother him still, or you know, because I noticed it like in there it followed him, you know, kind of like, and does it still?
Yeah.
It still messes
He
with
had,
him?
we detailed in the book, he had like kind of a similar sort of thing happen much later when he was in the Army.
Right.
But we don't really have, I mean, every now and then we have like something kind of ambiguous like happen at our house, like, you know, something is moved where it's kind of not supposed to be and things like that, but nothing really, you know, that we couldn't attribute to something else.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
All right. Well, let's talk about the place. Now, this is Tom's story. How did Tom get to this location? Now, obviously, it was the vacation condo. Is that correct? And it was Now, and it was I guess his company either owned it or they just rent it.
Yeah, it was his mom worked for, I think it was like an oil company or something like that.
Okay.
And they owned this condo, and they let the executives stay there, and they let people stay there. And they offered it to his mother over Christmas vacation, and she couldn't go. So she said to her sister, Tom's aunt, "Oh, do you guys want to go? Because I can't go, and no one else is using it." So they went up there for a week, and so he went up there with his Aunt Lois and his Uncle Red and his cousin Wes, who was also 13. They were both 13 at the time.
Right. Okay. So Tom,
that was quite a weekend.
Yeah.
When I was reading, like, it was like The Shining. Before I even got there, you know, he said, you know, it was like, oh my God. I mean, that's scary.
Now,
he said it just seemed like the beginning. You know, I mean, it was 1982, and he had seen that movie like a year or two before. And he said it looked just like that, like the opening scene where you're driving up to the mountains and it's all snowing and driving somewhere you're not really sure where it is and you've never been there. And he was kind of freaked out about it. And actually, that was funny because the first thing that happened was when they were driving up there, as soon as he was thinking that, the hood on the Wagoneer that they were driving just shot up, like, for no reason.
Right.
Yeah.
So how do you know Tom?
I met him. We're a couple now, but I met him several years, probably 5 or 6 years ago, right?
So
yeah,
you're...
yeah. And I met him at a club we both go to, and we kind of started hanging out. And you know.
Oh, so
yeah,
so you guys are married?
No, but we've been together a long time. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Almost 4 years, right? Yeah.
Okay, all right,
We live together.
Oh, okay, right on. Okay, so that's how you guys hooked up. Okay, I was wondering. All right,
Yeah.
right on. Okay, all right. Well, let's get into Mammoth Lakes is not too far away from Fresno, and that's why I called you guys back a while back ago.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know this or not, but we talk about the locations around Fresno County that are very, I want to say, very high in paranormal, right? And Mammoth Lakes happen to lie on, okay, here you go, guys, on the 37th degree latitude.
Yeah, the parallel.
Parallel, okay.
It's like a ley line.
The ley line across the United States, and Mammoth Lakes happens to lay on that. So is that a coincidence? I don't think so. All right, so go ahead and give us and start off by telling everybody. I mean, when Tom arrived, how many people was with him, and what did they start to see, to feel? I mean, fill everybody in.
Okay. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put Tom on and let him tell the story because he tells it a lot better than me.
All right.
And it's kind of his story, and he can kind of
right.
Here's Tom.
Okay.
He's going to tell you.
Hi guys, how you doing?
Hey Tom, how's it going?
How are you, man?
Okay.
Pretty good. I'm sorry I didn't really hear the setup because we're sharing one phone.
That's okay. No problem. I just want you to fill everybody in. What year did all this happen?
Excuse me?
What year did this happen in?
It was 82.
Okay.
82.
All right. And that was the first time you guys had ever been there, right?
Yeah, it was the first time we'd been there.
Okay. So it was you, and who else went with you in this trip?
It was me, my Aunt Lois, my Uncle Red, and my cousin Wesley. That was it.
Okay.
Yeah, but like I read the book. It kind of like seemed like it was kind of like doing everything for you, huh?
Yeah. This wasn't what you would call haunting. This was classic poltergeist.
Ah.
And poltergeist is not location based. It's people based. And there's usually what in parapsychology they call a focus. And a focus seems to be kind of like the person that all the phenomenon coalesces around.
Okay.
It definitely was like messing with you. That's for sure.
Now, Mike.
That's a good way to. But it's a very demonstrative type of phenomenon. What it does is it just does things that you can. Basically, it shows you what it can do, and it is interactive. It has a human type intelligence to it, but it's very mysterious when you see it. It violates known laws of physics based on the observations we made at the time.
Is this the first time you have ever encountered anything like this?
This was the first time, yes.
Okay, because my question was, as a child growing up, did you witness paranormal activity as you were growing up? But I'm thinking not. This is the first time, arriving here, you witnessed for the first time any type of paranormal activity. Were you a believer in any of this stuff?
No, I wasn't a believer. This was the first time that I saw it.
Uh-huh.
I was 13. It was 1982. The closest you could get to the paranormal back then, this was pre-internet age, was Dungeons and Dragons. I liked Dungeons and Dragons, and I liked Star Wars. That was it. That's what level I was at.
Right on. Okay.
Oh yeah, and what was the show with Spock?
Star Trek.
No. Remember he had.
In Search of.
In Search of, yeah, that would be like the only other, like where it would be like reality based.
Right.
Right. And remember, I don't even think that may have been in syndication at the time, but that really didn't pique my interest, back then.
Yeah, really. Yeah, the games would though. Yeah.
All right.
It's a good show though. I've seen reruns of it.
Absolutely. All right. So describe this condo. We've got the cover of the book on the on the screen right now, so everybody's looking at the copy of the book. Is this an actual photograph of the inside?
No.
Okay.
That's not the actual place, but we
Okay.
do have photos of the actual place in the book.
Inside. Okay, right.
Yeah. Oh, you
Now
mean
we've changed the name of that condominium complex for legal reasons, and it really wouldn't make a difference anyway in this case because Poltergeist is not location based.
right?
When we left, the phenomenon went with us.
Really?
Oh yeah.
So,
Well, I kind of dug into it a little bit, and I found out that it still is around there too. You know what I mean? Like, even not just in that one condo, even. You know what I mean? Like, the whole area seems to be kind of, having that.
jumping.
Well, I don't know what that place is like now. I haven't been there since '82. I moved away from California a long time ago,
Okay.
and it's. I don't know if it's developed more. I could probably look at Google Earth, but the way it was back then is it was kind of a secluded area. It did have shops and other apartment complexes, but it wasn't a built-up area back then.
Right. All right. Well,
And of course, when you're in the woods, it's kind of spooky anyway.
Right.
right.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the stuff that happened, it was mostly inside.
Yeah, it was inside. Yeah.
Okay, right. Well, you know what? Describe to everybody right now who's listening the stuff that happened to you. Like, for example, when you guys arrived in the first night, did it start right away?
Yeah, it started right away.
What?
But the thing is that when it does start, it starts slowly. So you're not sure if what you're seeing really happened, or did you just, did you imagine that? Like, for instance, I came in with my bag. I had two bags, a handbag and a suitcase. So I come in with my handbag, and I put it on the bed that I chose to sleep on in its own room. It was the first room on the right. And then I went back out to the car to get my suitcase. And as I walked back in and came through that threshold of that door, I saw motion out of the corner of my eye and looked at the bed and saw a rolled-up pair of socks come to a screeching halt. It was moving so fast when I first saw it out of my peripheral vision that it was blurring. And as soon as I looked at it, it just stopped instantly. And the handbag that I had brought in was opened and on its side with clothes strewn around in an area about 3 feet in diameter. And I saw that and I said, what happened? Did that just fall over and everything came out, or was I unpacking? Just my imagination. And I blew it off and went about my business. But that's the first thing I can remember, aside from the hood flying up on the way there. That was the first strange thing that I remember. And in hindsight, that was an event.
Yeah, it was.
How fast were you guys driving when that hood came up? I mean, I'm assuming it was slow because it was snowing.
Yeah, it was slow, relatively slow. It did not fly open from wind. And remember that, car hoods and Jeep hoods, they have a latch.
Right.
If you were to pull the hood release, it would just pop up about 2 inches.
Right.
And you had to manually press a lever, unlock it, and open it. This thing came open in one stroke. Bam! And we were probably only going maybe about 45, 50.
Wow.
Yeah, and then
And when it flew up, I just jumped out of my skin. Everybody did.
Yeah.
Now-
I've had that happen to me, but it was actually a malfunction. Because they went out, he got out of the car, his uncle, I guess, and then slammed it shut and it locked. And mine was broke. I had to take a
Right.
wire and
My
tie it.
My uncle inspected it. He couldn't find anything wrong with it.
That's my next question was, you guys were probably outside looking at it, probably going, "What the hell did just happen? How did that happen?" And
Yeah, well, I didn't go outside. Just my uncle did.
okay,
His wife and of course me and my cousin, which were basically the kids. We stayed in because it was snowing.
right.
And I saw him go around and look and inspect it, shut it, and then he came back in and shut the car door. And I think from what I remember, I think the vehicle was still running. Lois said, "What happened?" And he just looked at her and says, "I don't know. I can't find anything wrong with it."
Right on. Okay, so you guys obviously now you guys are at the place. You guys are offloading your vehicle. The socks was the first thing that you witnessed that you thought was, well, what a trip. Was it basically you witnessing stuff, or did the other 3 also witness?
Well, once
Poltergeist.
it kicked off, it became undeniable. Everybody saw it. Sometimes individually, if somebody went out on their own, or sometimes as a group, we would just be standing there and we would see something happen. But that's kind of getting ahead of the story,
Right.
You know.
Right.
It takes time for it to build up. And for the first day, it kind of just simmered in the background, and you had this very uneasy feeling of being watched and that there was a presence in the house, very heavy feeling in there, and you really couldn't put your finger on it. It looked like a normal condominium, you know, and it was of that period, maybe built in the 70s probably, and it was decorated in early 80s decor. There was nothing creepy about it if you looked at it. It just had a really creepy aura inside there, you know?
Yeah, I think that's what, when I read the book, that was what was creeping me out, was that, because that was said like a few times in the book, you know, that you couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching you, you know, no matter where you were, and especially in some locations of the air in there, you know, it was especially like watching you, you know. And man,
yeah, it was like it would coalesce inside of a room in a zone, you know. And if you stepped across in that threshold, it was like you were in a space that felt very cold sometimes. It was never always exactly the same. It was, you know, an ever-changing environment, but it, like, you could tell that it was centered in one room sometimes, and then you could tell that it had shifted into another room, and but that's also kind of getting ahead of the story.
Okay, well, we'll start at the beginning.
Well, we don't want to give away the whole book,
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I don't want you to give away the best stuff, but talk about some of the experiences. Leave some of the best ones out, because I want if they want to know what happened to you guys, I want them to go buy the book. I mean, that's the whole idea for you guys to come on. So, talk about some of the stuff.
Okay, well, first off, is I wrote the book to document the case, okay, because there's not a lot of stuff being written about poltergeist. I've seen it myself. My family's seen it. It is a real phenomenon, and it's one that is very rare. It's not reported real often. It's usually because they don't last very long, a couple weeks, and they sort themselves out. But I can tell you some teasers. It eventually built up into where it could produce blood. Not a lot of it, but some blood.
Yeah, well, one of the things was and this is something that you pointed out in the book, was it would like get to the scare factor where everybody's running outside, type thing. And then it seemed like it knew that it scared everybody that bad, and then it would like back off and do something kind of funny, And I thought that was a trip,
There's definitely an ebb and flow to it. There's limits to what it's willing to do. And when I get into the end of the book, I give my theories based upon my personal observations of having gone through it and having studied other cases and work that I've done with other parapsychologists. I myself am not a trained parapsychologist, but I know a lot about this particular phenomenon. There's a reason why it does all that, and I explain it towards the end of the book. But yeah, there are limits to what it will do, because and it's going to depend on the focus. In other words, what they would call the poltergeist agent, and that's the usually young person around 12, 13. It depends on their temperament. It has a lot to do with it. Did I answer the question?
Yeah. Did you guys have any pets with you?
No animals.
No animals. Okay. I've read books and I've seen movies about houses like this, or locations like this up in the mountains, and this can go either way. What I mean by that is, now, did you guys, when you guys were asleep, do you guys recall any missing time or anything like that at all?
Not when you're asleep. Based on what we saw, when the poltergeist agent is asleep, the phenomenon stops.
Well, when you're asleep, then you don't know what's going on either. So now,
but other people who are awake will
Okay.
notice that the phenomenon stops. Now, in extreme cases of poltergeist, what ends up happening sometimes in the very extreme case is that it appears to witnesses to be something similar to possession.
Mhm.
So if you look at the case of Donnie Decker, that was another poltergeist that's not normally talked about as a poltergeist, but it was. And he was a guy who could make it rain indoors. The rain could fall up, it could crawl across walls. And when that would start, Donnie Decker would kind of go into a trance at certain times. But then he would snap out of it and talk, and it would still rain, and then he would kind of lapse into a slight trance sometimes. So the poltergeist agent sometimes lapses into mental fugue trances in extreme cases. But I would say on a scale of mild to extreme, my poltergeist episode was probably above average. Not extreme, but stronger than average.
And again, I don't want you to give away the whole book, so give us a little hints of what actually happened to you and the other three that were there with you.
Well, what do you mean? What do you mean by what happened? A lot of stuff happened. I mean, objects were what we call apporting,
Okay.
which basically kind of appears to be teleporting. You usually don't see it leave, but you can see an object arrive, sometimes just out of nowhere. Usually in your local area, but out of your field of view.
That sounds like a portal.
But not by much. The timing is incredible.
See, I think
So there was a lot of apportation. I would say the total numbers of apportations at Mammoth, not at my aunt, I'm just Mammoth alone, because it happened also at my aunt's house, but just at Mammoth in maybe a 4-day period, maybe a 600, 700 apportations maybe.
Whoa. It was a lot.
So
Yeah.
This is not a subtle phenomenon. It is in your face. It's undeniable when it builds up steam.
Well, there was, at one point, I thought it was getting kind of dangerous. Like, I mean, at first it's playing around with little items like soap and wash rags and stuff like that, and you guys are even playing with it, kind of like,
Mm-hmm.
But then when it started messing with the knife, and I can't remember if that was in the apartment or condo or if that followed you home.
Yeah.
But when it started playing with the knife, and the knife is moving like, at the speed of, so fast that you barely could like you almost imperceptible of how fast it's moving. That was like, okay, that I that kind of scared me a little bit. And then I could see how, like we investigate a lot of this stuff, quite a bit, and get a lot of calls. And it was bordering on sometimes not being poltergeist. You know what I mean? Like sometimes intentionally, like almost like a bad spirit type. It only did enough to where everybody still would not like want it gone, but it still would scare the crap out of everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially
yeah.
with the knife. Like, whoa, it was a big knife.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It was. It could become threatening if you if the environment and the people in the house started to become anxious or fearful. It could become intimidating, but it never crossed the line where it broke anything or harmed anyone. And I put forth my theories as to why, and that's in the final chapters of the book.
Okay.
But if let's say you had a member of the clergy there or something, that wasn't familiar with poltergeist, they would probably interpret some of the stuff that happened as demonic. But
See, I don't
understand that people do things like that also.
I don't think it was evil or demonic. I think it's something else. And again, obviously, you say what you think it was at the end of the book, but since you're on the 37th degree parallel line, and that's why I'm thinking, well, maybe there's a portal up there or something. But then it followed you all the way home.
See, that's not unheard of either. I mean, that actually, it's actually something that we talked to people, and they,
Yeah, but I don't think
they did something with a Ouija board somewhere, know, and then that thing stayed with them after.
Yeah,
that,
but have you ever played with the Ouija board? Tom?
No, I don't.
No.
In my opinion, on my case, it didn't have anything to do with the occult.
Yeah, exactly. And see, that's where I'm going too. I don't think it's an evil demon. I don't think it's evil spirits. I think something opened up around that area. I think a portal of some type. Energy, some high energy, and
that's a common kind of a theory. If you talk to parapsychologists, they're going to tie it in with kind of Freudian psychology. Their explanation for it is RSPK, which is recurrent spontaneous psychokinesis. They are saying that it's psychokinesis being done unconsciously or subconsciously. And what I agree with that assessment, and then kind of take it a little bit one step further. And I don't have any problems, giving this part of the book away. In my opinion, looking back on it, I wasn't aware of it at the time, but after researching it and thinking about it and reviewing it over and over again and comparing it to other cases, and then my own personal experiences later on, which I talk about in the book, what I believe poltergeist is, and I hope this isn't anticlimactical, all right, but I believe poltergeist is really nothing more than a alternate version of an out-of-body experience, a modified out-of-body experience. In a normal out-of-body experience, the consciousness, or you might call it the soul, can leave the body, like in astral projection. But I think what's happening in this one is it's more like the right hemisphere of the brain, which people would call the unconscious or the subconscious, and this is borne out in split brain patient studies. It could be that the right hemisphere of the brain is somehow exteriorized, and there's some work with some physicists that can kind of support this idea.
Okay, so I'm thinking then this location, this condo, its energy was extremely high, and you arriving on the spot, I'm thinking that you turned it on. Because I think that you have, I don't want to say a gift, but let's just say something in your brain, it sensed, and I think that's why it also followed you home, because it sensed you as well. Because I don't think it's evil. I don't think it's demon, Satan, or anything like that. I just think that there was a strong energy presence there on that mountain, on that hill, and you turned it on when you arrived, or on the way there. It sensed you coming. Now you were in the military, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, obviously, later, you had experiences while you were in the military?
Yes, but it wasn't poltergeist.
Okay.
I actually had a spontaneous out-of-body experience that was witnessed by my roommate at the time. And during that episode, RSPK, or psychokinetic phenomenon, happened at the time that I exteriorized. I guess you could call it astral projection. The refrigerator and the microwave started shaking. And I made some observations. I was only out for a few seconds, and he disturbed my body. He started shaking me, and I came back in. And that kind of gave me some insight into the phenomenon.
Yeah, that was amazing. Like when, that's something I haven't read a lot about. What he,
This is the only book about poltergeist that was co-authored by the poltergeist focus or the poltergeist agent. None of the other poltergeist agents are talking.
Right. They're more researchers, talking.
Some of them are dead. Some of them are in prison. One of them is in prison. And the greatest of them all, from the Enfield case, she's silent. She won't talk about it anymore. She gave a few interviews as an adult, and she won't talk about it anymore. What was her name again? Janet Hodgson. Janet Hodgson. And my case was very much like Janet's case.
Wow. Huh. And I was loving that, like the out of body thing, because even though you said it was a few seconds, when you're out of the body, like I had an experience too, like only a near death one.
Yeah.
It seemed like I was out for a long time, you know what I mean?
Yeah, time's compressed, isn't it?
Yeah, and I did all kinds of stuff, you know what I mean, like traveling at the speed of thought and stuff like that, and checking out stuff.
Yeah, it's like that.
And I was tripping out, like you were even seeing something from two different perspectives. I mean, that would have been I didn't experience anything like that, but that would be a trip. I mean, how do you even sort through that? You know what I mean? And what you were even seeing, I mean, it was like, whoa, I mean, I love that part, that was the part, some of my favorite part of the book right there.
Now, obviously, it followed you back home. How, has it, when you arrived back home to this day, have you been experiencing this stuff still?
Not poltergeist.
Okay.
After the poltergeist episode, I would say that things mellowed out a lot. And it seems like things like poltergeist and things like spontaneous out-of-body experiences seem to happen when you're maybe in some extreme state of mind. Like in the poltergeist episode, I was going through family breakups, so there was psychological turmoil and stress. When I had my spontaneous out-of-body experience, I was in the Army, and I had kind of reached a mental state of self-actualization and peace, almost kind of like a Buddhist monks, And I was just falling asleep, and I just felt like my head was shaking back and forth, and a tingling starting from my feet that went up to my head, and the next thing you know, I was looking down on the room.
Man, now this is something that I had a question of when I was reading that, and like afterwards, you borrowed a motorcycle and bam, you get you get run over by a truck or something like that. But
I got hit by a car in an intersection.
Yeah, man. Now, usually when people have that kind of experience, like where like in my case, like after you have that traumatic experience where you're near death, you know what I mean? Like from what it sounded like you were like they told your mom you might not live, you better go fly over there. Usually that's when
that. She saw that. I don't know if that really happened. I mean, I believe what she said, but I didn't witness that. I don't remember that.
Yeah, right.
I don't remember being out of body and telling my mother that I was in an accident. I don't remember that, but she remembers that.
But only usually after some kind of event like that, then you're even more sensitive. You know what I mean? Like for me, that was my case. Like I already had, I knew that I could like sense things and kind of know the future and stuff like that. But afterwards, then I could read people, all kinds of stuff, and even see the future even better, like have really strong feelings of what's going on.
Maybe I should put you on the phone with Jetty because she's noticed some things like that, my ability to know what it is that she wants to eat. Tell her about that.
It's like your soulmate.
Hey, it's me again.
All right.
So what was the question?
Well, the question is, after all this happened to Tom, what things, because obviously now you are, you can visually look at him when he's on his own in the house and whatever. And what things can you tell that because of his experience that he can do now? I don't want to say reading minds per se, but he just said that he can read yours, sort of, kind of.
Yeah, he does. And he does that pretty much. Actually it's kind of freaky because sometimes I'll be thinking of something completely random, like, I don't know, it's usually some kind of food, or like, gee, I would really like to see this movie that, this really old movie that I haven't thought of. And then like a second later, he'll be like, we should watch such and such movie. And I'm like, how the hell did you know that I was just thinking about that? But he's definitely like a really, he's a character, that's for sure.
Well, kind of like usually when people have like a traumatic, close to death thing, even though they might not experience or remember what they experienced during the time that they were, out of it, they usually come back more sensitive and, a little more intuitive than they were prior, even though they already had that gift. Like, it then becomes more focused. You know what I mean? Now, all of a sudden, even though they're not doing it on their, consciously making an effort to use it, it actually is more. You know what I mean? It actually works better, I guess you could say.
I have another theory, but now we're going into R-rated and I'm going to say probably even MA, but mature audiences only. And I'm gonna tell you, because my wife and I, all right, and I'm thinking you and your wife as well. I mean, think about it. Is there sometimes when you're thinking of something, or she'll say something, and all of a sudden, hey, I was just thinking about that,
all the time,
the time, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, right, and that happens, I'm sure, to you guys too, right, Jenny?
Oh yeah,
yeah. I think it has.
Although he does it with other people too. Other people we know. He's very insightful, more than me probably even. And I always thought I was a pretty insightful person, but I don't, not as much as he is though. It's like he's very adept at reading people. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure. I didn't know him before. I only met him 5 or 6 years ago, and this was back in the 90s when he had his accident and his out-of-body experience and stuff. So I can't compare.
Right.
Because I've always known him that way, but yeah.
Okay, well, maybe my theory's out the door.
Well, I bet, like in my case, it would be like, I'll say something like, somebody's gonna call or something like that on the phone,
right?
And my wife will look at me all weird, and then the next thing, the phone rings and it's the person that I just said was gonna call.
Well, then you're just weird, dude.
Yeah, or I'll be thinking of someone, and I'll even say something to the wife or somebody around me and say, wow, I haven't heard from that person in a long time. And then bam, they walk through the door or they call on the phone and stuff like that. And that wasn't like that until I had the experience, the near-death thing. I mean, a little bit like that, but not quite as strong as now, And I was kind of figuring, like, if he was having the paranormal, supernatural stuff going on, after he had that traumatic experience, that would be more heightened, I would think.
It just turned it up.
Right, yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I said that sounds so. Yeah, that's totally plausible. I definitely think that's true in his case.
Right.
Yeah, wow, that's cool.
So he can't give you any lotto numbers or anything like that?
Yeah, I wish.
Man, dude, I tried doing that.
When the last time you guys went to a casino? I mean, seriously.
Yeah. Oh, now that's another thing. I've never been to a casino with him, but apparently he used to be quite good at that. That he used to win a lot of money at casinos.
Dude.
Didn't you say you still win a lot of money at casinos? Roulette. Yeah. He used to make a lot of money.
Wait. Roulette as well?
That's numbers.
That's like knowing what's going to come up.
Yeah.
That's
dude. Like the marbles gonna hit 23 black.
I'll send you guys some money. I'll meet you guys in Vegas next week.
Okay, awesome.
Dude, I'm serious, man. I'm gonna use his gift. I need the money right now.
Well, I gotta tell you, man, that that book was really good, and I enjoyed it a lot. You know, and
Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad. It's like, it's such a great story, and I was scared I was going to mess it up, I was like, I really want to do this story justice and stuff like that. So
it was good. I mean, it gave me the goosebumps several times. Like when they talked about running out of the house, like it would build up to a crescendo and scare everybody.
Has
I wanted to run then.
Has Tom ever thought about going back?
I don't really know. Let me, I'll give you some back. You can ask him.
Ask him.
Maybe we could go with him.
Ask him.
Oh, have I ever thought about going back to Mammoth Mountain?
Yeah.
No, not really.
Why not? Come on.
Just,
You only live once.
we it's far from where I live now. It's in Florida.
That's all right. I'll send you a plane ticket.
Oh wow, right on.
I mean, if we
Did
get,
you hear what you said?
I'll send you a couple of plane tickets if we get a budget on this end.
Okay, if you want to
No,
do that,
no.
I know where the place is. I didn't give out the true name of it.
Right.
I don't know who owns that place now.
Okay.
But if you ever wanted to see anything weird there, we would probably have to have the whole original group, like my aunt, my uncle, and my cousin. And there, for all I know, there could be somebody living there now. I don't know.
Right.
But
You-
in Poltergeist, there seems to be an element of group synergy.
That's
Now, I don't know
I think it's just him.
if the psychological background is there anymore.
Do you?
Because I think-
Obviously, it was a long time ago. You don't know the address of the place or anything like that, do you?
Oh, yes, I do.
Ooh.
Oh, yes, I do. I have all the documents from the kind of, what was it, a rental agreement? No, it had something to do with,
Oh, like when
what
they
was that?
cleaned the
What was those
room.
documents that
It was
we
like
had?
the housekeeping rules
It was
and
the
stuff
welcome.
like that.
I have all
yeah.
of the, yeah. As a matter of fact, we have a copy of that in the book.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. But we have the names of the places blotted out, I believe.
Okay. I you know what? I'm gonna have Alan do some research on it, only because if it's available and rentable, I would like to get out there and maybe spend the night and get it for a week or a couple days or whatever they allow us to do. Right now we're trying to get a TV show, and if that happens and there's money and budgets, then we'll call you and fly you out there, because it's your energy.
Sure.
It's your energy, man. You know what I'm saying? And I think I think you
I'd
can.
have to get psyched up for it.
Right.
Sure, I'm up for it. There's a possibility. We kind of discussed that
Mm-hmm.
before.
Well, you know, if you Google
it may bring back memories. I mean, I'm 45 years old. I'm kind of over the hill.
Oh, whatever. Whatever. I'm 48.
Most of them are in their
Be
teens,
quiet. Whatever. I'm 48.
Yeah.
You're not over the hill. Okay. No, I'm serious about this. If things happen on our end where money is available to us, I would like to make this an episode and film it for TV. I mean, you never know.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure, I'm up for it.
Okay.
I'm up for it.
All right.
I've already talked to a couple of television series, but nothing's really been solidified yet.
Okay.
I'd also like to mention that in writing this book, one of our fans turned out to be a British parapsychologist named Steve Mara, and he loved this book. He rated it 5 out of 5 stars. He said it was the most authentic. Well, do you remember exactly what the rating was?
Well, he said it was the best book he'd ever read he never read like that was written by a non-professional.
Yeah. And
I thought you were a professional.
He liked it so much that he's asked Jenny to write 2 more books based on poltergeist cases that he has documented in England.
Wow.
Oh.
Because they're real good cases, but there's no books associated with them.
Right.
And we've done the interviews with him. We have it, and the first one will be the Rochdale Poltergeist. Jenny's going to write about that one.
Cool.
And do you remember the name of the second case? Stockport. The other one's called the Stockport Poltergeist, and he's with an organization called MAPIT, and they do some government contracting and investigations on paranormal phenomenon.
Really?
Not just poltergeist, but even outside of poltergeist. And he would make an awesome guest for you guys.
Yeah. Send him my way. Send him an email and tell him I want to speak to him by email first.
Oh,
obviously.
do you know who he reminds me of? He's just like Morris Gross. Do you remember Morris Gross?
Why does that sound familiar?
He was a famous British parapsychologist. He was involved in the Enfield case. He kind of had a handlebar mustache. He was a World War II fighter pilot.
Huh.
He was on Geraldo a lot back in the 80s.
Okay.
Remember him? He's passed now.
Okay.
And he was a really good parapsychologist. And he knew him. And Steve's a really good guy, and he has a lot of interesting cases that are not publicized.
Right. Not yet, anyway.
You know, like you said,
Oh, fresh.
this is a really wide open field. I mean, that everybody talks about ghosts and UFOs and Bigfoots, but nobody really talks about poltergeists, and I don't even think anybody really knows what it is.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like you say it, and they immediately think that's a ghost too. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like they it's interchangeable to most everybody that it's a ghost.
Right.
But it's not.
Right. That's not.
And I was, I forgot who I was talking to just recent, but I think the movie Poltergeist was probably, was I talking to you?
No, but only I know what you're going to say.
I think that is probably the first picture that gave everybody that involved in ghost hunting.
Right.
You know, 'cause at first, I thought ghost busters. But I think Poltergeist, because obviously they called in a university to come in who were familiar with Poltergeist.
Right.
And I think the movie Poltergeist, I think, basically set it for all of us now who do this. And then I think Poltergeist and Ghostbusters, and then, X-Files and so forth and so forth. But yeah, I'm really serious about, like I said, if a budget comes our way, I'd like to get, fly you and Jenny out and see if you can turn on whatever's there still. And then
I'm up for it.
Okay.
Maybe she could write
It
our
would be an
book.
adventure. I'd like to see the place after that amount of time.
Okay.
And my aunt, my uncle, and my cousin live in that area.
Oh, okay.
Oh wow, that's good.
Okay.
Where about do they live?
They're not far. They're in. Well, I would say that area. They're in that state. They're in. I think it's Vista.
Yeah, Southern
Vista
California.
or Oceanside.
Oh, okay, that's south.
So it's like a 4-hour drive?
Yeah, 4.5 hour drive to LA. Okay.
I know in order for us to get there, we either have to go that way or north and go through 80. We have to go around the Sierras, unless the Tioga Pass is open. That's the only other way.
Open. There's no freaking water, no snow. It will be okay. So.
Yeah.
Now, you know what though? Now that I remember it, my cousin looked for the actual apartment on Google Earth, and he showed it to me. And we think that the condominiums were renumbered.
Oh yeah, you could Google it, like not Google Earth, but just Google, and just put poltergeist or haunted Mammoth Mountain, and a whole bunch of stuff comes up, and they're actually marketing it.
Oh.
The Mammoth is marketing it. It's a big tourist destination. So, but only along with it comes the tavern, a whole bunch of stuff is supposedly haunted. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, it's touristy for sure.
Well, I know it's still there, but I don't know if the number of that condominium is exactly the same, because when I looked at the condominium associated with the number that we have,
right,
it's in the same. It doesn't look like the exact same unit. You know what I mean?
Like a little bit of remodeling.
I think they added a few more apartments or condominiums there and renumbered them, but we could find it.
Right. Okay. If worse comes to worse, we can always take a drive out there and film or take photographs and send them to you and say, okay, which one is it? Type of deal.
You can see the pictures in the book.
Okay.
Of the outsides of the places,
right.
And it doesn't look like that anymore.
I know.
It looks like it's been remodeled.
Right.
On the outside.
Okay. Right on. Okay. Well, I'm going to put that in the back of my head as a good possibility. Where can everybody get your book at?
On Amazon.com. Just Google Mammoth Mountain Poltergeist.
Okay. Right on. All right. Well, Tom and
that
Jenny.
Was good stuff.
Yeah. Thank you very much for coming on. Like I said, we're going to put you down on a piece of paper and keep you for future possibilities.
Call me anytime.
Absolutely. Let me know if Jenny, finishes those other books, and then we'll get her on to talk about it, and get a hold of your buddy out in England and see if he can if he wants to talk with me.
We'll do. Oh, I know he'll come on.
Okay.
He loves doing these programs.
Right on. All right. Well, let me know and send me an email, okay?
Sure.
Okay, right on. All right. I thank you for coming on, and we'll talk to you soon, okay?
Man, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, talk to you guys later.
Thank you.
No problem. Thanks,
Bye.
Jenny.
Jenny, good book, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
good.
take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.
All right. God, you know what? If we only had a budget, guys.
Yeah, well, but only we could still do things without a budget.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. Like, I never heard of some of the stuff that he was talking about with Poltergeist. A little bit, about the telekinesis thing. But I was coming at it from like what you were talking about, like the ghost hunters and taps and ghosts, what they say about it, and it's almost like two different animals compared to what
being that that it's in the mountains, and on the 37th parallel. All right, and that's telling me that there is the energy there has got to be off the chart.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's got to be off the. If we take our meter, K2 meter, I bet you just walking around that place, the meter would just probably peg into red. I don't know, but I don't know. When he was talking about whatever was going on there, I was thinking right away, possibly alien, abduction.
Well, and like Courtright is just only
everything
like
right
over
there.
the hill
Everything
from that.
is right there.
You could hike from Courtright to Mammoth in probably a couple of days or less.
Well, what not to say that a Bigfoot was looking through the window and, with the energy of it.
Well, they were actually seeing it, though. They were seeing the actual... That was the only thing.
Things that were going on in the place.
No. I mean, they were seeing something. Like, they're all outside in the car, and they're seeing a big fog or, dark cloud inside.
Right.
And it was showing itself. See, that's where I get all confused about Poltergeist and other stuff, right? I mean, Poltergeist I always thought was something that was like a trickster or something like that. You know what I mean? Not necessarily dangerous or anything.
Well, Poltergeist,
but you couldn't see it.
When you say the word Poltergeist, I think of the movie.
Oh,
all right,
okay.
and I
didn't watch the movie.
What?
Man.
You've never seen Poltergeist the movie?
Nah.
You got to be slapped right now.
I don't really watch movies and stuff.
Well, this is a very old movie. You need to watch it only because that's you have objects literally floating around in the air and moving by itself. It's just very high energy, and it's only because beneath the house there was a cemetery there at one time, and when they came and built the homes, they just moved the whatchamacallit, the headstones, and left the bodies there. That's the whole thing around the movie.
So, what if that was built on
a Native American Indian burial ground? Exactly.
Or really close to one, even.
Exactly.
Ooh, I'm gonna go dig that in. I'm gonna dig on
Native American Indian burial ground, right there.
It could. Very well could.
That's what I'm thinking.
I mean, they were known like the Paiute Mono. Mm-hmm. I know. Everybody, they say they're not Paiutes. They're Paiutes, okay, but only they're on the other. They came from that side and would come over to the mountain to this side, and back and forth. And they hung out over there, like in winter or summer. There's a lot of them, and then in winter they'd maybe make it over here to the foothills and eat.
Who could tell us?
I don't know.
I think what Native Americans are in that area.
I have some friends on my Facebook I could ask,
okay.
and I'm thinking of one right now. His name is Joe. I won't say his last name because I don't know. I don't want him to get blasted like we do. But only I'm going to ask him. I mean, I know all of them, and he's the one actually that told me that they're Paiutes. Okay. And they say there's something else, and I can't remember what it is. I grew up in Yosemite, so it's the same ones. You know what I mean? Like I was saying, going over Tioga Pass, it's the same ones that came from that's why Monos, right? Mm-hmm. Mono Lake is right there by Mammoth.
Right there.
And so they come over back and forth, and he's a Yosemite what they call Yosemite.
Well, we do have. I mean, your friends, the Native Americans, watch this show.
Oh yeah, there's some.
Does and any one of you guys out there want to call and help us out right
that
now?
would be fun. We could take some calls.
Yeah, you know what? Let's. I'm gonna give you out our hotline number, which is our 24-hour paranormal hotline number. Anyways, it's area code 559-287-8367. I'm gonna go ahead and repeat it a couple times here, because for those who don't know it by heart. And it's time to program it in your cell phone, wherever you may be. This is pretty much a 24-hour hotline.
Maybe we could get the sock monkey to type it in the chat, since I don't have the chat. I was kind of kicking myself there
I forgot.
a little bit, because I would have loved to seen with the chat if they had questions for him.
Right.
But only,
I completely spaced it, because
I
didn't have much time to get in here and prepare.
I mean, look around. He had to work and got in kind of late, and then I came in, and we only had like a few minutes to get ready.
No.
But only look at this is so cool. I mean, everybody on Art Bell should probably take a little look at live stream today.
The number again is area code 559-287-8367. 559-287-8367. Any of Alan's friends in the Native American reservations that are listening or watching us right now want to call in and help us out. My thoughts are Native burial ground. That's what I'm thinking.
It could.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. Because if it's not abduction or aliens, then it's got to be only because it's in the mountains. I mean, it's in that area, and I don't know. But it followed him home, obviously, he says. I don't know. Maybe he took something home.
A lot of things. See,
maybe he took.
When I was
home.
listening, when I was reading about it, I think there was, like you're saying, like a portal.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was more going on than actual pure poltergeist stuff. Like when he, like you said, it produced blood. I mean, that's just like man, I shouldn't say where, but only I know there's this one place, and they had some stuff in a hotel room, and
right.
yeah, and like it produced a lot of blood.
It's not open anymore.
Oh, right. Huh,
it's closed down. So go ahead, say it.
Oh, like the
Chichancy, right?
Chichancy, yeah. I mean, they had somebody calling the desk and asking for a Band-Aid, right? So they send a Band-Aid.
Who told you this story?
My son. He's security.
Got it.
He was security there. Now he works at he works at the Mono Casino.
Okay.
But only he was security at the Chichancy one, and he didn't really want to tell me about it, right? Because it scared him.
Uh-huh.
It scared a lot of people over there. But in one of the rooms, somebody started calling for a Band-Aid, and they brought the Band-Aid and knocked on the door, and nobody was there, and so nobody answered the door. And then a little while later, somebody called for a Band-Aid, and they're like, well, they sent a Band-Aid, and they knock on the door, and nobody answered the door. And finally, somebody called for a Band-Aid from that room again. And this time the front desk is like, who is this person? Are they pranking or whatever? And then they check, and there's nobody in the room. Right? Nobody. They haven't rented the room for a couple of days even.
Right.
Maybe in 2 or 3. That's when they send security up. And they just send them right in. And when they get in there, there's pools of blood all over the place, and handprints down the walls and on the mirror in the bathroom, blood all over the sink. I mean, it freaked that I'm getting goosebumps, because I believe my son.
Now, did your son see it, or he heard
No,
it
he
from...
was one of the ones that went in the room.
Really?
Yeah. And he said it was a mess. And then I was thinking, okay.
Now, how did
stuff magically appear? Did it magically disappear?
No. Now, how did he know it was blood? I mean,
they brought the sheriffs. They called the sheriffs. They
crap.
thought somebody got murdered there.
Wow.
In fact, the sheriffs thought somebody got murdered there.
Okay.
But they never could find anyone or anything about that. And they finally remodeled the whole room. I mean, they ripped out all the carpet and painted, and I mean, they had to change the bed. The mattress was all bloody. I mean, it was a mess. It was like enough blood in there, a whole body would have bled out. That's how much blood was in there. And to this day, nobody knows what happened.
Now, after that incident, did they continue to rent it out, the room? Yeah.
After they remodeled
Did
it,
anybody who have ever rented that particular room ever come to them and say, there's crazy stuff happening in this room?
As far as I know, everything was fine. But there was other things that happened, that, and I won't go into it because that's something, if they ever can open it, I don't want to, tell a bunch of stuff.
Right.
But there's a lot of scary stuff. And I don't even think it's like just on that reservation either.
Right.
Like you were saying, maybe that place up there was, built near a burial ground or something, or a sacred place, sacred ground. And sometimes, this is like when we were talking to David Paulides about the devil's in the details.
Right.
They make that's why there's so many places called the Devil's Post Pile or the Devil's. It's not really a burial ground or nothing. It's just a place where, it has a reputation.
Right.
Of
things happen there.
Right. Yeah.
Weird things happen there. Just like Yosemite, weird things happen there. On the 37th degree latitude again, guys. I mean, that just freaks me out. I don't think it's a coincidence at all, especially
you
Mammoth
think it
Lake.
might be a coincidence they built Area 51?
No, they specifically built it there because of the energy. So I don't know what made them think or what they were doing there. Maybe they found something. I am thinking that's what happened, that they found something, and that's why they decided to build, take up shop there. Just like, we know there's an underground facility north of Fresno. I bet you anything, and it's underground, obviously. I bet you anything it's on the 37th degree, and that's why north of Fresno.
You guys brought up something the other day, and is anybody going to call? Come on. Somebody has a ghost story or something.
Yeah.
A real one.
But
you guys brought up something the other day, and I never really thought about that. And you were talking about the methane.
Right.
Like, we have a high methane in our air.
In this area. And don't say it's because of the cows.
No,
and
cows
the
are up and
horses.
down the whole state.
Right.
And in Chino County, there's more cows than here.
I didn't think about that.
And Tulare County even has more cows than here. And the wind blows east, not north. So it ain't cows, and it isn't animals, and it's not population either. There's something else. And you were saying,
Well, granted, I fart a lot, but that ain't it.
No, but only that it was like brought up that where the two places that you guys are talking about are supposedly known as underground things, right?
Okay.
Like there's something under high population under the ground.
Reptilians maybe. Who knows? The Four Corners, that is just like, Paranormal Central right there. I mean, we're talking, Bigfoots and monsters and UFOs and all that is happening right there. Hence the abundance of methane gas. And if, for all those who don't know what we're talking about, if you go Google high methane locations in America, there'll be a map, and click on images when you go do Google instead of the web, and a map will come up of the United States with the blue, I think the red or blue color is over the Four Corners and over the Central Valley where we live. Now in 2009, 11, I don't know, it was like 3 or 4 years ago, NASA came to Fresno, and they were flying their NASA airplanes very low over the central San Joaquin Valley. And they were saying to the media and to everybody when they released the press releases that they were just testing for smog, because the Bay Area, all their smog, when the wind blows, it blows into the Central Valley, and that's why we get bombarded here with allergies and all the smog. But the methane, though, the methane doesn't come from the Bay Area.
It's coming from here and then blowing with all the pollution.
Right.
You know what I mean? But only it's emanating from here.
So there's something is leaking, I believe, methane from what part of the land around here, I don't know, but I believe NASA was here because of the methane and not because of the pollution. And now they came out and said that NASA put out a press release that they're going to be flying over the Four Corners to try to figure out where this methane is coming from.
Really?
So they're not hiding it back now. They're pretty much saying, okay, we need to find out where this methane and then NASA's in charge of it. All right. So, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, when they were here in Fresno, I can tell you right now that's the reason why they were here. It wasn't because of the pollution. It was because of the methane. Did they figure it out? Did they figure out where it was coming from? I don't know, because they're not going to tell us that stuff, guys. They're not. So I don't know. There's a lot of crazy stuff happening here in the Valley of Fresno. That's why we're doing this, guys. Okay? I mean, it's just crazy stuff. So I don't know. Let's talk a little bit. At 7 o'clock, we're going to get, just for about 5-10 minutes, we're going to have Alex Chionetti going to come back on. Cool. And I think they pretty much debunked those slides. The slides are worthless and they're a hoax, from what I understand.
Bogus. I feel sorry for everybody that paid, and I heard it was, in the over $100 to see the,
now,
epic.
Is that on live, on some streaming stuff, or is that in person, you mean?
I think it was a website or something, and they, in order, when they brought this all out, you could be one of the first ones, but it was going to cost you, and there was a bunch of people that paid, and I feel sorry for them, because that was the, once it got out, like,
right.
When we had Alex on, he was saying it was bogus.
Now, what sucks
bogus.
is that the people who were on the stage, and one of those persons was Richard Dolan.
Right.
Okay, so now a lot of people are not considering him to be a viable source when it comes to UFO stuff anymore, because he placed himself in that predicament. He should have done some research first before, apparently airplane tickets were bought for him, and he went down there just to be like a reporter per se, but he should have never been on that stage, I think. Jaime Maussan, according to a lot of people, is mud. Yeah. He likes to fabricate a lot of stuff, and I think Alex Chionetti could pretty much attest to that. And I don't want to, I don't want to bring people on my show that have that dirt on them, because this show here, I'm going to try to keep it clean. I don't want people coming on here that's had, like Biscardi or Dyer, those people. I don't, that I just completely stay far away from those people. And now, what gets me is that these two gentlemen who's making this documentary, their documentary's mud now. I mean, right, yeah. I mean, why would you do that, you guys? I mean, why would you pull a stupid stunt like that? Because now, when you guys release your documentary, nobody's going to watch it because you guys are hoaxers.
You know what's even worse? These guys were the guys that did all the cons or whatever you call it. And they were the guests. The people they would put on a con, and then they were the ones that got on the stage and everything and talked about their expertise and everything.
Wow.
So now, all those guys, those guys are like toast. Like I get a bunch of emails and stuff like that, and sometimes I get some that say that, we believe anything, and that we're a little bit whacked and out there and stuff like that. But you have to understand, we come at it with an open mind on everything, and now I'm like question everything and everyone. Mm-hmm. And when I think I got it figured out, I'm not even close half the time. You know what I mean? So now it might seem like I'm a little bit gullible, but only I learn more if I don't close off and say, okay, that's it, I know everything. You know what I mean?
Right.
And some things we say might sound like far out, but it
isn't.
You know what? A couple of years ago, I thought it was far out.
Right.
Now I'm learning it ain't that far out.
Oh,
in fact, there isn't no limit. Now I just keep my mind open, because as soon as you think you know it all, you don't know nothing.
No. And you guys have to understand that we are on top of all this stuff, we know people, we know exactly what's going on out there in the paranormal world. And we have access to some stuff that you guys don't have access to some stuff. And we sort of kind of like put two together sometimes, and then we figure out, whoa, that's not a coincidence at all.
Right.
A lot of times you will learn some stuff on here. And matter of fact, we've had people email us telling us, wow, you guys mentioned or talked about this certain subject and showed photographs, and you blew me away. And it's like, now, I can talk about this and have the ability to understand what I'm talking about and say, hey, this is all fact. Go look at this particular photograph or fact sheet or whatever. And this is paranormal stuff, guys. All right. So, like this methane gas stuff. People will automatically say, what's a freaking cow? It's just there it is. Go to the next. Okay, I'm done. Go to the next thing.
Well,
It's
they eat
not
lots
that.
of burritos over there. No,
but I mean, it's not. Why would NASA be involved if it was just
Right.
cows? It's not, guys.
and we're not even saying we know.
Oh no, we're just
speculating.
we're telling you
Yeah.
what's going on,
Yeah.
and NASA is now involved. So obviously,
I mean, there's some facts. Like the fact is there's methane.
Right.
The other fact is NASA's involved. Then why?
and then
that's what we want to know.
And then the next thing, it's the Four Corners, where happens to be the most
Right.
paranormal location around here. It's same as Fresno, California, and
isn't that where Skinwalker Ranch is?
yes,
Close by there.
that's what it is. Four Corners, Skinwalker
Yeah.
Ranch, and they're both lie on the 37-degree latitude. Okay,
Right.
take all that into consideration, and you have some weird stuff going on. All right,
Right.
and it's there it is. It's fact. All right, so
Yeah, those are the facts. But now, why?
yeah, why?
Like, why is NASA so interested in that?
Why are there
Yeah.
monsters running around the Four Corners? Why are there
Right.
Bigfoot reports? Why are there flying
More
creatures?
UFOs than ever.
Yeah. Why? And also, I believe Bigelow
Right.
purchased the Skinwalker Ranch. Why did Bigelow set up shop there, guys?
And then lock it down
All right.
to where nobody goes in there.
And Mr. Bigelow is now, I believe, in charge of MUFON, and all of the high MUFON cases or reports go through Bigelow first. And
Yep.
on his building, there's a big alien head
Yep.
on the building,
That's
and on
his
the
logo.
logo, and on the security hats of all the security personnel that run around that place have an alien head on the cap. Guys, go Google that. It's all fact. So that's just weird stuff.
It's
all
his logo and it's our pet. No.
right? All right. So that's
Watch, I can make him roll
that's
over.
some cool
No.
stuff there. So, all right. Let's talk a little bit about, like I said, we got about 15 minutes before Alex comes on. Have you heard anything more about the Walmart's closing down, or?
You know what? I really dug into this
Mm-hmm.
Walmart thing, and I know people that work at Walmart, and I even asked them. Nobody knows, and except for that one video that came out that I saw, some government guy saying, or retired government, and he said that he was trained to that Walmart was. They would take over these Walmart, that was like their training. And the Walmart, they would use the Walmart computer system, which I know, like personally know, it is cool.
Very high sophisticated
way
stuff.
In fact, they're the first ones to use RFID chips and stuff.
And let's talk about that. What I heard is that if for some reason the SHIT hits the fan,
Right.
all right, and our military, or let's say Red Cross or FEMA, needed to transport items to certain locations around the United States, how would they do it? What type of system can they use? Well, let's Walmart's sophisticated RFID chip
an ordering system, computer system, and their distribution system. I mean, they have the best distribution in the world.
Okay, so if our military, let's say, and how many Walmarts are there in the United States?
When
3
I
or
worked there-
4,000, probably.
Yeah, when I worked there was just a little over 2,000 and something. Our store was actually 2001.
Okay.
you know.
So there's, I think the last time I saw it was like 3,500.
Yeah.
Right around there.
And all over the world.
Okay.
Not just here.
Right. So if for some reason our military, let's say, set up shop in Pico Rivera, where one of the Walmarts has closed down, or 4 of them in Texas, and let's say they needed to order a lot of stuff like ammo, blankets, first aid, whatever. I think the best way to do it would be through the system, if need be. So that's one of the theories why Walmarts are all over the place, is because of their ordering system that they have. But what happens if the grid goes down? Then obviously all the computer stuff and everything else goes down with it as well.
Unless they Faraday cage the room. And I wouldn't even...
Or underground.
Well, see, now there was another one I saw a video this lady put out, and I know it was a dream or whatever, but there's been so many dreams lately that they're the same.
Mm-hmm.
But hers was, she took a map, an overlay map she found of where the entrances to underground is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then she put the map that she found of where the entrances were, and put the Walmart closing map over that, and the Walmart was sitting right on top of the entrances of who they say. And I don't know, maybe somebody did that, you know what I mean, like saw the Walmart map and then drew a map of the openings where the underground openings are.
Right.
But at the same time, she also said that in her dream that she figured out, remember that noise that everybody's hearing?
That like moaning.
Yeah, and they're hearing it all over the place.
Right.
People are saying that is like the Ark, okay?
The Ark.
Yeah, before Noah got on an Ark and before the world got destroyed or was hit by whatever,
Mm-hmm.
governments are building tunnels underground
Mm-hmm.
all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Every country, right? And they're all testing their ICBMs right now. I mean, you could read it. You could go Google that.
Let's talk about that right now too.
And they're testing all their ICBMs. I mean, but only somebody said that these big tunnel making machines, when it hits rock, like solid bedrock, and it's hitting, it's like it's like turning your finger on a wine glass, right? And it goes boo or whatever when you do that. They're saying it's the tunnel machines under the ground, and they're hitting solid, like hard rock, granite, and it's going boo, making these noises.
Right.
And nobody knows where it's coming from because it's coming from under the ground. And they're building all this stuff as an escape for whatever's coming. And there's hundreds of
all kinds of theories out there.
Yeah.
Now
hundreds,
the ICBMs. Let's talk about that. That a lot of the countries are testing their. Let's just say maybe they're trying to get them ready because of what's coming this way from up above.
Right.
All right. A meteor. That's what I'm thinking at this time. And again, a lot of people made fun of us because we mentioned this, I think last week or the week before.
Yeah, we did.
We got made fun of a meteor supposedly going to hit in the Atlantic Ocean near Puerto Rico.
Well, you know what? That we're not saying it is.
Right.
We're just saying there's hundreds of people getting visions and dreams saying that's where it is.
This has been going on for several years now, guys. Like I said, you guys would never have known about this unless we brought it up. And why did we bring it up? Because we know what people are talking about out there as far as preparedness, when our military, moving into the Cheyenne Mountain, NORAD, all that stuff. You guys would have never known about the meteor hit in Puerto Rico if you would not be listening to the show. No one else is talking about it. All right.
They're saying it's actually not a meteor; it's a comet. That's what everybody's saying.
Okay.
And a comet is huge.
Mm-hmm.
That would be like a chunk of a planet, like a fourth of the moon coming in. You know, and that would change the weather and stuff
Yeah,
like
it would.
that, man. It would wipe out some stuff.
Right, absolutely. So, like I said, we're going to, whether it sounds so unreal,
It does.
ridiculous, which it does, we're going to tell it to you anyway. So that way you can go and Google it and look for yourself and then read up on it. That's what we're here for. We're gonna show you guys, and we're gonna tell you guys about stuff that you don't hear anyplace else. But if you go Google this certain word, then
Yeah.
it's going to come up like crazy, and you would have never known to look that up unless you would have heard it here first.
And we're actually not like standing on it saying this is it. You
Right.
know what I mean? We're just saying this is what we're finding, and you can go check it out. We don't really know. You
can laugh all you want at it, but we're telling you what we are receiving on our end, and we're going to pass it along right to you.
See, like when you were talking about the ICBMs and the jade helm thing.
Right.
Okay, that is okay. Like, I'm old. I'm 56 years
Man, you're
old.
old.
Yeah, man. Phew. But anyways, I remember when I was a kid, we actually were proud of the American flag, and we were
Right.
proud to see military movements and stuff like that. I mean, I grew up when the Vietnam War was happening, right? And in fact, I almost thought I was going to go. I missed it by like 2 years or something like that. But we were proud. I mean, we didn't question what the government did or anything. You know what I mean? And when you seen troop things, you're like, yeah, rah, rah, you know. Okay, now the United States is getting ready to do one of the largest maneuvers, training things
This summer.
Yeah, that it ever did, and it has maybe something to do with the Walmarts, maybe something to do with a comet coming in, because the other countries, Canada, Japan, China, Korea, everywhere, really, if you Google it, you'll find out, they're all doing military biggest maneuvers. Russia, I mean, they're doing huge ones. And now, not only are we doing our own thing in Jade Helm, but I've been seeing pictures of UN stuff coming in like crazy. That scares me, because what are they doing here and we don't need them? You know what I mean? We don't need the United Nations. They need us. We don't need them. Why are they here? What are they going to do to us?
I think the whole Baltimore, all that racist, rioting, all that is to make you guys focus the media on that, and to not, basically to keep you away from what's really happening around the world. There's basically false flags. I think that's what that is. It's a false flag.
And it's also divide and conquer. Like, if they could divide everybody and get them fighting about that, it's easier to institute like martial law. So once they get that mindset going on everyone, they can do a false flag and they can get everybody rioting everywhere, and then put martial law.
Let's talk about that, because right now with all the rioting, and it's not just happening in Baltimore.
Right.
There's protesting going on all over the place. So what's happening is our government is moving their equipment to these locations, making you think, we're just on standby in case the rioting gets worse than it is. Then we're there already to assist the police officers or whatever they need. Now, what makes you think that they're moving all this equipment around for something else, and they're using that as an excuse?
Yeah.
Right? And that's what I think is going
and then
on.
what
right
are they going to use it for? What is the ultimate thing they're going to use it for? That's what I'm saying.
Here in Fresno, there's a lot more equipment than used to be here from last year.
Did you ever get it by?
No, I never got a chance to go. But there is a lot more equipment being brought in, and it's probably being brought in, like Alan said, while we're asleep. There's a lot of stuff going on while we are asleep, you guys. All right? And they are doing that because they know Paranormal Central is aware of our surroundings down here in Fresno, and they hate us for that.
And telling everybody.
Yes, and they hate us for that.
So that means all the people that listen are awake.
Got a phone call coming in. Hold on here.
Okay.
Shoot. Oh, hello, this is Paranormal Central. You're on the air.
Oh, hi, this is Jackie.
Hi, Jackie.
Hey, Jackie.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Which ghost story do you want to hear about? The one where he started taking me out of my house?
Now, this is Jackie from Thule.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got a message. I was on the board, and someone said, call in. Somebody wants to hear about your ghost story.
Yes,
So
Sure.
yes. Now,
I had
now, Jackie, where do you live?
I live in Mariposa.
Oh, right on.
Sweet.
Now,
Okay.
you know what? For some reason, we have a lot of stories up there.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to hear yours. Spill it.
Well, this actually happened in the Fremont area
Okay.
when I lived there, and on the Ohlone Indian site, and I lived in a house that definitely had lots of beings, lots of activity happening in it, and it was a new house, but just where it was situated, it was not far from where a lot of things happened to those Indians up there. You know, they were really decimated.
Yeah.
You know, they were given blankets with typhoid in it, and you know they were horribly treated.
Well, you know,
And so the story is that my husband went out of town for about a week, and I was there alone. And there was this person, I don't remember who he is now, but he had some tapes out on how to meditate, and he kind of gave me the willies a little bit, but he was a channeler. That's what it was. And so I poured myself half a glass of wine, or I drank half a glass of wine, and I put his tape in, and I said, I'm not going to go under the spell of this guy because I don't know who he is. So I was determined just to sit there and watch it, right? Mm-hmm. And sure enough, I clunk out, you know, and next thing I know, I'm being carried as if I'm laying in this fellow's arms, up the steps, up the second floor steps, floated up in my astral body, and he's trying to take me out of my home. And I went, no, like that. And I, you know, shot back, bounced back into my body, and it was like a thud. You know how it is when you come back in your body and you're not really, it's not a normal comeback. It's like a,
right,
you know,
like a crash landing.
Your body is buzzing, and, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was quite frightening, and I remember spending the next 2 nights at my girlfriend's house because I was just too afraid to be in the house. And I never don't remember that I didn't have another incident with him, but there were other incidences in the house.
Wow.
So anyway, that's my story.
Wow. Very cool.
That is
Are you there?
good.
Yeah, we're here. We're listening. Definitely listening.
Okay.
Wow.
Now, has anything ever happened to you up in Mariposa?
Yes. I was saying that on the chat board that when I first moved into the house I'm in now, it's on Usona. I don't know if you know this area, but there's a lot of stories in this area too. But I was laying in bed and a being spooned to me.
Whoa.
You know, sleeping behind me.
Right.
Yeah.
It kind of came up and spooned me, and I jumped out of bed and I said, "No! You know, I don't mind you hanging around the house. I have no problem, but you can't come into the bedroom and you can't spoon me. That's like totally off limits."
Wow.
You know what?
So
I've heard that one
I've
before.
never had another incident, but you know, I believe they're here.
Any Bigfoot reports out in your area?
No, but you know, James Gilliland from the East Eddy Ranch up in southern Washington State.
Yeah. Mount
He
Adams.
has, you know, he has people there all the time because he has, you know, workshop, and he's got a conference coming up, I think, in a couple weeks, and he usually has one in July. So he always has guests on the property. And there's a juvenile Bigfoot that is coming up and hanging out, not hanging out, but will come up to the people. And what he does is he, from what I read, he'll come up and he'll just zoom away, like really fast, like hyperdimensionally almost fast. But he's been seen multiple times.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
If anyone
really
wants
cool.
to traipse up there, it's about like a 13-hour drive, and
Right.
it's ESETI if you want to look it up on the internet.
Right. But very.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I'm aware of that ranch. I mean, that's been shown all over TV. A lot of the ghost hunters has been there. Paranormal State has been there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
They have a lot of cool
it's
pictures.
a real deal. I went up there, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago, and I saw a UFO. I saw a light in the sky, and it broke into 3 pieces, and then it kind of came back, and then it swished off into like a right angle, and it's like, well, it's no plane I know of,
Right.
kind of thing.
Wow.
That was pretty cool.
Very
so.
cool stuff.
But
You know,
have you
like-
heard of Bigfoot out here?
Oh,
Yeah.
heck yeah.
Yeah.
All over.
Really?
Absolutely all over. You need to definitely talk to your neighbors and see if they've, any
If
of
they'll
their
talk about
livestock
it.
gone missing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times they'll throw that and say a coyote took it or a mountain lion took it, and they won't say anything. But a lot of people's livestock are going missing, and we think it's because of the Bigfoots.
Well, there's a lot of scary stuff up there too. When I lived in Yosemite, we would go down through that way, and coming down to the valley, and there's a lot of history there with the Chinese and Indians, and
there is.
yeah, and then I mean some of it is horrific. Like a lot of people
Really?
they think of like when you were talking about the Native Americans.
Right.
Everybody thinks that the Trail of Tears is like the worst thing ever, But really, the
Right.
California Indians almost were like wiped out. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah, exactly.
everyone was treated bad everywhere if you were a native.
Chinese
I
and
mean,
the Chinese.
Yeah,
were
and the
terribly-
Chinese. You're right.
Yeah, you're right.
Wow.
There's really, it's really interesting about this area. It's like you have this really very enlightened community. Like we're into Qigong, we're into enlightenment, we're, totally getting it on. And then you have this really dark aspect, like that, these guys that came in and, burned up the German girls and the mother, in Yosemite not too long ago, about
Yeah.
Oh,
8
yeah.
or
Burned
10 years.
I can't remember his name. Burned the car up with the 2 girls in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
Terry
And then
something.
I guess there were like these 3 houses in the 70s where 3 little old ladies lived in town, and some escapee from the prison came and murdered all of them, all 3 of the little old ladies. I mean, some really, really dark stuff happens here.
Yeah.
It's like either really light or very dark. It can be really intense, so. We just keep focusing on spinning the good.
Right. I'm gonna have to look up, see what degrees that Mariposa lies on.
Well, it's not far
Oh,
from
yeah,
here,
like-
like 40 miles or something.
And then I'm thinking it's 37 degrees.
Yeah.
Easy.
Well,
yeah,
like
yeah, it is.
when I was a kid, we would ride, going back and forth from Yosemite down to the valley, and I didn't know, but I learned there's all these rock walls everywhere. And then
Yeah.
I learned that was the
There are.
Chinese that they made the rock walls, and that was their fence.
Oh.
Yes.
And there's
And
lots of them.
Mariposa itself is like burned up 7 times
Right.
over the the last 100 years. It's like
Right.
crazy how many times it's burned down.
And there's
And
all
what
these
else?
old
I don't know.
mines
Oh,
everywhere.
and the fact
Yeah.
that the hills are filled with crystal and gold.
Right, yeah.
There's gold throughout these hills, and gold and crystal go together. Gold kind of, I don't know why they go together, but they do.
They do. Quartz and
And
gold.
so that's why I think this is such an intense place, because it really magnifies what your energetic field is. What you are gets really magnified. So if you're pretty dark and need a lot more lessons to do, this is the theater to play it out. But if you're light, you can do some pretty nice traveling.
Yeah.
Why do all of the bad people go to Mariposa, I wonder? I mean,
Well, I wouldn't say they
It's not
go to
just
Mariposa.
Mariposa.
I would say that if there's a bad person and he or she still needs some some working out, some acting out before they get their act together, then when they're here, they vibrate at a different rate. They, it gets them into their. It's sort of like the light and the dark. You can't have like the dark is actually a sacred aspect of ourselves. So I always get concerned with people who try to, push the dark out of them because, go away. But really, the dark, because we live in a dualistic universe, and this is the place we signed up to be, the dark actually serves as a tool for our growth. And it ain't fun being dark. It ain't fun being hatred. It ain't fun being jealousy or doing bad things. But this is what your soul has chosen to do to betterment. So it's almost like aspects of ourselves are sacrificing themselves to be these dark energies to teach us lessons. So don't ever, shun or throw away a dark aspect as if it were, some crappy thing you got to kick down the street, because it wasn't fun being that dark aspect, and it was here to teach you something.
Wow.
That's true.
Very true. Okay, right on. All right, well, Jackie, thank you very much for calling.
In a way, you need to honor it and thank it for its service.
Okay.
I know Emerald would.
All right. Hey, I appreciate. Well, yeah, we're just talking about Emerald.
Hey, and thank you for letting me tell you about the dark and the light. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Hey,
thank you. You can call anytime. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome.
All right.
Thanks
you.
a lot, you guys.
See ya.
Bye-bye. Happy Mother's
don't
Day.
use your microwaves. The ultra-dimensionals do not like it.
Really?
It's too harsh on their energetic beings. So just don't use it.
Well,
okay, love you guys.
Happy Mother's
Thank
Day.
you. Thank you.
Bye.
See ya. Okay, let's call Alex really quick.
I'm going to turn my microwave on right now.
My Cheryl is going to go, that's it, no more microwave. I can hear her already.
Well, I actually won't. I don't like microwaves. I never did. It changes the molecular structure of everything. It isn't really good for you.
Yeah. Well, it's radiation. It's radiation.
They make great Faraday cages.
Were they going to call him at 7:15?
I don't know.
Hold on.
Hello?
I was supposed to call you at 7:30. Darn it. Hey, Alex, it's Jeffrey.
Yeah, Jeffrey, hi.
Sorry, I forgot I was going to call you at 7:30. Can you do it right now?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, right on. Cool.
Hi, Alex.
So,
Great stuff, man.
Okay.
I like what you're putting on the web.
Yes, all right, so tell us about these slides, man.
Well, we were ahead, huh? I think I was foretelling as a ufological Nostradamus. I said was coming, the storm and all this scandal and all this travesty. Finally, I was right. It was totally kind of, they explained as mistaken identity, but really was, after the show, Tuesday night, they were still pushing these two slides as an extraterrestrial mummy. But we continue doing research, and really we found that the slides are really part of the mummy. And it was very controversial for several days. They said it was an Egyptian mummy. These slides were, you remember, depicting this strange kind of small entity with a big head.
Right.
In the glass case. Yeah, and we, from the beginning, we thought it was a museum piece. And we saw a lady behind, it looks like 1940s, 1947. But more analysis of the placard, the card inside of the glass case, they did this kind of reversion of the picture. And indeed, said about Mummy of the Child. I was the first one who said this mummy, this creature could be similar to the Aymari Andean Indians for the Mongoloid type of face, more than Egyptian. And for the type of rappers, the Tuesday was released a good high definition picture, but until now, the researchers have a really 75 kind of 45 degrees picture was took from this documentary of Adam Dew, the guy who was promoting his film Ektachrome. As you remember, they said they found in a house in Arizona from this defunct couple this collection of slides, and the researchers, Schmidt and Tom Carey, who had been writing books, they still to associate also together with Jaime Maussan, that was part of the Roswell conspiracy, as Eisenhower was in one of these slides. And they make all this big event before to research, before to do a good researching.
Right.
And the most funny thing, they said they sent the slides to a company in New York who was analyzing the show. Ray Downing was the guy in New York. It's called Studio Macbeth. And they sent also to a military guy, the Colonel Jeffrey Tow, who is part of the Pentagon photo analysis. And these guys didn't really make any research. And they went to this show, but I think this show was only for make money, as a big event of the history. And this is really a big fault by my colleague Jaime Maussan, who have this kind of record story to blow up these sensational cases and take it as true stories. And finally, I was analyzing the picture, and the picture have more the elements of a Native American Indian and Latin American Indian. But they have these bundles next to him, who are really bundles of the Indians, red colors, yellow, and finally, in the picture, said donation of San Francisco, and looks like this mummy come from Mesa Verde, was robbed by people from the Bay Area in 1894, and they returned it after. But that is the legend was really analyzed. And in the beginning, this Anthony Bragalia was the researcher, the ufologist, who really unchanged all these kind of nefast events. When he really convinced Schmidt and Tom Carey to kind of release, and they met Maussan, and they decided to do this kind of event of the century, but they were convinced. But this shows the condition of the ufology, Jeffrey. In America, the ufology is really a whorehouse, but the researchers don't really research. They are rushing to publish books. They're rushing to be talking heads in dreadful programs of Hangar One or Ancient Aliens. Well, no matter, I have been part of Ancient Aliens in the past. But anyone who publishes a book, a self-published book, now is an authority. And they're a self-published book. And they call it to be in TV, they call it to be... And it's not a research. Well, what is happening?
Right,
and this is an evidence thing. And it's a situation now. And kind of all this event was criticized, and thank God we found the true story. If not, was going to be another 20 years of similar Santilli Roswell autopsy again. But the researchers, serious researchers, I told, they were kind of believing that also for years. And people with power, they keep all these myths and legends on the tape. They're not field researchers as you could be. You go to the field and you confront the phenomenon. But
absolutely.
And you do in a honest way. But it's a pantheon of researchers who are untouchable. And that have to be changed. And now have to be really. But it's the new generation. What sample we are giving to the new generations?
Right.
It's, in this case, come from Mexico. But the people we had in this Mexico scandal were not Mexicans. Well, Jaime Maussan is a big promoter, and he found an opportunity. But for example, we have Dolan. Dolan is an expert in documents, and he's talking in every TV program, and he endorsed the same day. So this is kind of extraordinary. It's very anomalous. That show.
See,
I think that show with the condition we are. The famous researchers, they don't really do the homework.
Right.
Yeah, and this is the case. You go to rushing to do this kind of exhibition without researching.
Right. I would not. An example, a show for TV called me and wanted me to in front of the camera say that Area 51, they had alien artifacts that they were going to use. That's what they've been testing in Area 51. And I said, I can't say that because I don't know that. And they wanted me to say that on camera. That's all they wanted me to say. And I said, no, I'm not going to say that, because that would ruin my credibility. I have no proof whatsoever that Area 51 have alien technology. It's all hearsay, guys. There's no proof whatsoever.
That is also part of the TV companies. It's the TV producers who they're really very ignorant, and they're looking for the thrill and sensationalism.
Right.
I am a news producer, but I always have been very kind of cautious with what I launch to the audiences. And the TV programs, you have these development guys and researchers. They don't do any research or cross-examination.
No, they don't.
They're looking for rating.
Right.
And they get you sound bites, and the sound bites go,
Right.
And that creates a snowball.
And that's why, it's like a majority of the, I'm not going to say researchers, the people who write books, they take other people's stories and input it in their books. If they're going to be real researchers and investigators, then they need to go and look for UFOs themselves, or go look for Bigfoots themselves, or go spend in the nights with ghosts and spending a weeks at a time with their cameras. Then they can write about if they if they got anything worthwhile. That's the reason why we haven't written any. We have, Alex, we have so many people who want us to write books. I know,
you have great cases.
Yeah, we have good cases, but we're not here. Granted, we could use the money, but it's all about telling our fans, the public out there, what's really going on out there. Now, for Richard Dolan to get up on stage, I'm not going to probably ever ask him to come on my show, because that.
It's everybody is very upset in Europe and South America all over, not only with Dolan. I was upset with Dolan, but in this Hangar 1, for example, in the episode on the moon, the base moon, he was endorsing these crackpots who said they were travel and they lived for years in the moon.
How do you know that? Yeah, you don't know that.
Anything. Well, what happened with Richard? Come on. Yeah.
Yeah, we have no proof. That's just ridiculous. You can't go on.
I was surprised.
You can't do that, you guys.
Yeah. A very author with respect. He did a great job in his book, The UFOs and the National Security thing. But now, I think, I don't know if it's the editors or the people behind these programs, for example, in the Hangar 1, these cases are not part of the MUFON. Don't lie, please. The MUFON used to be a very respectable institution. Uh-huh. They don't research, field investigation. Yeah.
Right.
No.
Not after. Yeah. Right.
I know there are important things. There are good subjects, but it's don't use that name.
Right.
It's a kind of, I don't know. But coming away,
that
ufology is okay. It could be media, but we have to be honest media.
Yes.
We do first research and after show, and don't tell me, television is entertainment. No,
right.
It's a media, it's information, and it's education.
Right.
And in the same, that is the problem. All this scandal in Mexico, who is reviewing now all the condition of ufology, and the heads of these sacred dragons and monsters and ufology are rolling down, it's calling the attention worldwide to look to back to the pure research, to back to the real investigation, and not vice versa. In this case, the Mexico event proved the media and the sensationalism is first.
Right.
And they make all laughable.
Now, my question
is affecting all of us too.
Yeah. Now, my question, and I was just telling Ellen that the two guys who came up with these slides, they're putting out a documentary, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, well. Documentary collectacron, but now he will have to change the end.
Well, not only that, but do you think I'm going to watch it? I'm not going to watch that. Because it's like, to me, they hoaxed this. They planned it so that people would, it's just, I cannot watch if this documentary ever does come out. I'm not going to watch it because of what just happened.
Well, no, that is the reason I was very upset, but I saw how damaging was the Roswell autopsy. And it's the people who are doing these top shows in that 20 years ago. I was witness, and I was also trying to do good television. But the ratings were high, and they sell all over the world a prank.
Right.
And researchers, it took kind of 15 years to react. As a friend of mine, Michael Hesseman, in Germany, he took 15 years to say, no, this is a good. I used to have fights already in 85. Or Philip Mantle, too. He told me, yes, I believe until 2006, but I want to really investigate from inside. But no, that is not an explanation. But if you took 15 years, 10 years to expose, and that autopsy really damaged the subject a lot. And when these slides were coming, I said, and I start to get worried, and nobody really kind of exposed Maussan. And Maussan is an old friend of mine, but I said, I have to choose between the truth and exposition. I said, no, nobody, but he have good relations with everyone. I said, they were kind of afraid. It's the same with the authors, with the Schmidt and Carey, where they wrote several books. If you write a book, you're untouchable.
Right.
That is the concept. And you are kind of a spoken person for the subject.
Wow.
That
that's
is
too
a
bad.
false perception as the media before the research, and that have to change.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to be changed, but the people are tired of this kind of cracking thing.
Absolutely. I agree. I totally agree 100%. It was just what is it? Pony and whatever show.
Dog and
Pony show. That's all that was. I mean, come on.
I've actually been told many times already by people in the same business here, and they told me, you know what, you're not going to be taken serious until you write a book. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, really? And then when you're like talking about TV, they will come at you and say they're going to tell the truth, right? And they come in and you tell the truth,
right?
And then in the editing room, it gets jibber-jabbered up, and then when you see it on TV, you're like, what? I didn't say that like that.
Right. Well, for example, the Monsters and Mysteries, they sliced up, whatever we said, that's not exactly how it went down on a couple of the things on there. Same thing with chasing UFOs, the same thing happened, but I agree. All right, Alex.
And that was National Geographic. And National Geographic was always a skeptic, but when they saw the other stations, they were making money. Yeah, they were dancing.
Right.
The monkeys were dancing,
Absolutely.
And they eat all the scientific ego and that thing.
That's all about money.
The corruption.
Right.
And the people should be more critical. They should be really, if we are looking for the truth, and be active, proactive, not passive. I come from a generation of field research, and I always want to go and talk with the witness and really cross-examine the people on the internet, as I told last time. They put everything coming out without any spirit critic. You have to do a filter, no?
Right. No, I agree. I agree. All right, Alex, thank you very much for coming on. You will see more in the internet about this. It's a funny scandal, but I think something positive is coming from this. Okay, absolutely. All right, well, hey.
And the truth is out there.
Absolutely.
I look forward to seeing your adventures. I mean, you go on some good ones, and they're fun to read about. I like that.
So let me know if anything comes up that you want to break to the world.
Okay,
you know where to go.
I have many interesting things coming.
Okay, cool. All right. Let me know. Thanks, Alex.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, see
Bye,
ya.
Alex.
Bye. Yeah, you guys don't jump to conclusions, and that's one of the reasons why we do this show here. All right, you guys, and Alan is correct. We've had people say, you guys really need to write a book, and you know why
Can't
we need
be
to write a book?
serious until you do.
Well, you know what though?
And they even told me, you know what? You'll be on the talking circuit, like you'll get paid to go tell, talk, and
Well, see,
and nobody really calls us to do that.
and
But
it's because we don't have any books.
We don't have
guys.
a book,
But there is a lot of investigations that we have done with a lot of facts and cool outcomes that
with
evidence, guys, that we can put in a book and blow the minds out of all these other people that write books, because this is our stuff.
Stuff we actually were. I mean, that's what's so cool. The Monsters and Mysteries one, they are the closest.
Pretty close.
I mean, there was only a few things a couple little, and it really didn't matter.
Right.
The story really was.
It was
pretty
much
there. There, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the growls didn't happen on that night.
Right, yeah.
The you pointing the gun out of the window and it's waving its arms. That was a
totally different story.
Totally different. They changed the story completely to make it exciting.
Right.
And for all those who have heard Alan tell that story here, it's not how it happened on Monsters and Mysteries. No. Pretty close. But not. They just added, the Bigfoot going crazy and stuff to make it more exciting. Right. That's all. So, yeah. But, one of these days we will write a book. You know what it is? Now, maybe Alan could probably do it, but it's just the time. We don't have time right now.
I feel like...
soon, maybe?
Well, I would have to write another book because I'm not done with the first book. You know what I mean? I haven't started it, but only life hasn't... I mean, I feel like you write a book when you're done, right? Like you're opening one...
chapter.
Yeah, I guess you could do it in chapters, but only I feel like there's still more book coming.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, we're just, to me right now, we're on the cusp of the grandest ending of the book, ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like we come a long ways, and this would be a great chapter.
Sure.
In the book. You know what I mean?
Like, us getting 26 episodes for the Fox Network here in Fresno. How in the hell did that happen?
Yeah, and that would be a great chapter.
Yeah, it would.
In the book.
How it all started from point A to point B to get us to the point where he says on the table, "All right, I won 26," and we're like, "Huh?" That just doesn't happen, guys. In the
and we've been told that too by a few people.
A lot of people. What?
Like, how did you do that? That doesn't happen.
So, and then tomorrow I'm calling somebody in Hollywood tomorrow just to talk. I'm not going to tell you who it is. I'll just say it's a network, and we'll see what happens. But it's all about just keep doing what we're doing, having fun at it, and we're not going to stop.
And telling the truth. Even if it sounds like we're corny.
Yeah, but we're not lying about any of the stuff that we're talking about, guys. It can be backed up with information on the internet. And when I say by that, because everybody says, well, if it's on the internet, it must be true. Well,
not exactly.
Not exactly, but when I mean if it's on the internet, it's actual facts that you can go and pull up stating what I just said is fact, like that's on the 37th latitude, or the methane gas, and NASA is coming in to do research. The Four Corners, how Bigelow purchased it, the Skinwalker Ranch, and now set up shop there. How Bigelow has purchased MUFON. Now any calls that come in through MUFON go through him. All that stuff, guys, is total fact. And there's way more than obviously we can get into, but anyway. So, all right, hey, we got 26 more minutes. If anybody else wants to call in and tell us their ghost stories, or just tell us anything paranormal, it doesn't have to be ghost. The phone number is 559-287-8367. 559-287-8367. If you want to call in and tell us something that happened to you a couple of years ago that just really bizarre, hey, we want to hear about it, and I'm sure there's thousands of people who are listening right now want to listen to, so give us a call. Let's go ahead and continue on. Again, we're going to talk about what's happening right now in the news. Well, actually, no, let's take that back. We're going to talk about the stuff that they don't talk about in the news. I mean, that's what we do here. And we were, talking about the military and them placing their military vehicles all around America. And that's what they're doing right now. Like if they are expecting something to happen. Now, I remember a couple of years ago when the Iraq War was done, and all of a sudden, all these people were witnessing these trains hauling all this equipment. People were saying, all that is they're bringing back all the equipment back from Iraq, and they're bringing it back, and they're now placing them in military bases all around. And that's not the case.
Mm-mm.
That's not the case.
They left everything.
What we are witnessing right now being transported either on diesel trucks or on trains or driving on freeways are Hummers and personnel carriers. Mm-hmm. That is what's being brought in right now.
And they're fully armored.
Yes.
They're ready to be like IED'd and everything. I mean, they're armored.
Now, right now, also, ISIS came out and said they are ready to hit 5 states at any moment because there are sleeper cells placed in these particular states. And it's California, Texas, and I forgot what the other 3 were. But isn't that kind of, I don't want to say funny, but that these are the states that they're bringing in military vehicles too.
See, now, and something that gets me about all of this is everybody they I don't know how to put it, but only they swing like a pendulum. Okay, they hear some information and then woo, it sends them way over to that opinion, right? And then something else happens and woo, they swing back the other way, almost like too far. And then the media is doing it, right? It's spinning this stuff to pull on your emotions and everything, and it's everybody's losing sight of what's really happening, and they're doing it on purpose. I mean, like they're using the race thing and all this stuff. But only now, if you step back and then you look at it from maybe several years of information, you'll notice like this kind of, they've been doing this for a while. What about all the billions of rounds they bought up back when? Yeah. I mean, what was that? Why? And I mean, that it was a big deal then.
Homeland Security purchased all those rounds, right? And
rounds.
A lot of the MREs as well.
Right.
The food.
Yeah, all the prepper stuff.
All the prepper stuff, they purchased a lot of that as well. Now, again, why would they do that if they're not preparing for something?
Right.
I just, yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. And we're, right now, everybody is swinging over to
the Baltimore, okay, we got a call coming in. Hold on.
It's like, what is it? Why does everybody do that? Like, step back.
Hello, this is Jeffrey with Paranormal Central. You on the air?
Yeah, hello, Jeffrey. I just my name is John.
Yeah, John.
I live in the Central Valley, and I got a couple of stories to tell you. I got one. My grandma's house, actually, Fresno, California. She recently passed away a couple of years back there, but also my grandpa Ralph passed away there, and my Uncle John passed away there. So the whole reason that my family, my dad's side of the family, moved from the state that they used to live in Texas over here was because my Uncle Ralph died in Vietnam. So that house, ever since when they came over here, that house has always had paranormal, incidents, things happening, stuff getting moved around. I've never been afraid when I've went to the house, but I feel at peace there, like I feel like I'm at home. But there's been a couple of times where I've been there just by myself working on something, and you hear somebody walking in the hallway, walk up. I've even like seen somebody at the end of the hallway, and I look again, nobody's there. But the main thing that happened to me, my sister, and my dad was my grandma. I believe it was in 2006. No, hold on. 2004, 2005. She went to Texas. That was her last wish to my aunt, that she wanted to go to Texas, to go visit the relatives out there. So she was gone. And we were there playing poker, right there in the kitchen, like we normally do. Me, my dad, and my sister, and my brother-in-law, and my little nephew, and my niece. And we were looking, and on the screen, there was writing on the screen. We were looking, like, what the heck is this writing on the screen? My dad goes, look what it says, guys. Look what it says. And we're looking, it says, where's your grandma? Written in the screen, and the windows closed
so where we could see in the dirt. And my sister, my dad, my brother-in-law, my nieces and nephews were there. Nobody else was there at the house. For that to be written there, that really opened our eyes to like really acknowledge that.
So what did it say exactly? Where is your grandma?
Yeah, that's what it asked. It said, "Where is your grandma?" So for that's an intelligent question asking us. So worth it, thinking that it could have been one of the spirits of our past relatives. It could have been my grandpa or my uncle, but it was asking that, and it was written clearly in the screen. So that was one thing that really stuck with me.
Wow, that's cool.
For forever. But I've never been fearful or scared to go over there. Like I said, I always feel at peace there at that house.
So what else happened there? You said a couple things happened.
Oh yeah, we had I moved out after high school, and I lived with my dad in Nebraska. Well, when we came back, we stayed there at the house, and I was asleep. I was laying on my side. There was an extra bed, so my dad was in the bed in the back left room, and I was on the floor, sleeping on the floor, and I felt somebody sit on my side, like on me, because I'm sleeping on my right side, like in the fetal position on the ground, and I feel pressure on me, and somebody sleeping like on me, and I couldn't speak, I couldn't talk, I couldn't do anything, but I could move. So I was hitting the bed, and nothing. And finally, my dad goes, "What happened? What?" And when he spoke, whatever it was lifted off of me, and I said, something was on me. And I couldn't move, I couldn't talk, and nothing. He goes, well, just where your grandpa is looking at us, making sure that we're okay, and we back over to sleep. And that tripped me out. I was like, what the heck? Like,
well,
oh man, that was a freaky. But that was like one of the other times where it was. I wouldn't per se say I was afraid, but it was just an unsettling feeling to not be able to speak, because I've never ever felt like that ever. Where you couldn't talk. I guess you're so scared or something.
Wow. Yeah, you could have been half awake, half asleep, and that's the paralyzing, because a lot of people have that paralyzed sensation. I remember, and I'll tell you right after I talk to you, but what is that? Sleep paralysis. And what sat down on your bed? I don't know.
It wasn't on the bed. It was on me. But like I was saying, I've never felt like scared to be there at the house. Because I know in the end, if there is another life, if there is another life after life, all there is they're just looking out for us. The spirits are there, just making sure we're okay. So. But that's some of the occurrences I've had. Well, another one, because I've been recently watching you guys, and not too many people know about this. I never told like none of my family members. Just recently, my mom, and but I want to say back in 07, 08, I took my girlfriend at the time, Jessica, and her brother's girlfriend. We went up on top of North Fork, because that's where me and my buddy Roger, a lot of my old friends, we used to go paintballing way up there. And I forget what the road, you go 222 and some other roads, but it's like a one-way road, and there's a drop-off cliff up there. Well, it was the third time I went up there camping, and it was with the two girls, and we got up there pretty late, but there was another, I don't know if it was a couple or another couple of campers over there camping. They had their bonfire and stuff going. And Jessica's like, "Hey, babe, let's go for a walk. I want to look at where the stars. It's beautiful out." So, okay, well, that's fine. So we're out there walking, and sure enough, with the tag along, her brother's girlfriend would come walk us. So here I have these two girls walking with me, and we're walking in the dirt road, and you could hear something like crunching and crackling coming up on us. And I was like, what the heck is this? And then it started growling. I don't know if it was a wolf or what it was, but I remember we just stopped. I'm like, okay, let's just go back to the truck. So we just turned around. It was pitch black dark, where the stars were out beautiful. And the other camper was about 100 yards away, because we kind of kept to our own space. That's the only type of thing that I've ever felt like. I don't know if it was Bigfoot, I don't know if it was a wolf, a bear, or what, but it kind of was intelligent, because it came close up to us where I could hear it like breathing and growling, like, So we stopped, we went back to the truck, and that was that. I even had put out the tent before we went for the walk, and we didn't even sleep in the tent. We slept in the truck, and we left in the morning.
Chicken.
That's what I would do too.
Yeah, that's kind of cool because, like I said, the Bigfoots are all around the foothills, dude. I mean, North Fork, Mariposa, they're all over there. So I'm not saying that's what it was, but did you hear the footsteps by any chance, or were they just crackling?
Well, you know what? It wasn't really footsteps. It was just more stuff like crackling. You could just hear it breaking things when it took off from us, and when it was kind of coming up to us, you could hear things rustling, like rustling. You know, like in the bushes and stuff.
Right.
More when it went away, I heard a lot of things cracking and breaking, and we were like, nah, man, we got to just
see.
And that was the first time that ever happened, because, like I'm saying, we used to go up there, and that little meadow, you don't have to pay what it camp up there. It's so far up, hardly anybody knows where it's at. When you look at Bass Lake's like a little, like an inch big. It's way up on top of the mountain.
Are you talking about Whiskey Falls?
Drink up there and have fun. It was a weird occurrence that time.
Are you talking about whiskey
with my girlfriend?
Are you talking about Whiskey Falls?
Huh?
Whiskey Falls? Is that where you're at?
You know what? I'm not sure if it's called Whiskey Falls. All I know is that I would take Road 222, and then it's like a little dirt road to the right, and then there could be a gate there, and there's like a concrete flume that runs alongside it with the road, and then you just keep going on that dirt road, keep on going, and then there's like a pretty gnarly like granite drop off. Like if for whatever reason you were to lose control, it'd be like a 100, 300 yard drop to the bottom, and then it keeps going up.
Wow. Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, hey, John, I appreciate you calling up and telling us your story. That's awesome. The crackling, leaving and crackling, it had to be obviously something big and heavy to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
A coyote or a wolf or it's not going to create that much of a damaged sound. I don't know.
And it wanted you to know it was there, too.
Yeah, it did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly, yeah. But, I just want to let you guys know, man, keep up with a great show. Like I said, I'm born and raised right here at Sanger, California. So, just keep up with a great show, man.
Thank you. Hey, spread the news, man. Thanks for calling in, Johnny. Appreciate it.
All right, you're welcome.
Okay, see ya.
Yeah, like when he was talking about the bed, I don't know how many people, even in my own family, have told me things like that, or they feel like did you feel that cat jump on the bed or something like that? Like it feels like an animal jumps on there.
Right.
But they also, like the girl was talking about being spooned. I mean, that's almost kind of like that.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a lot of that, at least around here.
Right. Being that we do what we do, in ghost investigations, UFOs, a lot of people probably think we actually witness a lot, and a lot. Now, I don't want to say a lot. We've had experiences.
We get our share.
A lot of people ask me because before I really got into this, I did a lot of ghost investigations, and we would go set up all of the cameras and the DVR and stay the whole night and try to entice whatever's there. And we got nothing. It's just the way it is. What you see now on TV, and they go and set up shop in one day and one night, and they get all this stuff. No, bull crap, guys. That's not the way it really works in the real world.
Well, you got one. I mean, it's kind of...
Which one?
The one where the girl that had the back surgery flipped back.
Oh.
I mean, that one is... I mean, did she do it? Like, if you had back surgery, could you flip yourself back like
I don't
that?
know. I don't know.
That one is interesting.
And I think I erased the video. I don't know. I
have it somewhere.
Oh, you still have it? Okay.
Yeah.
The only paranormal, when it comes to spirits or ghosts, that I ever encountered that really got me going was my dad owned a ranch south of Sanger on American and Greenwood. For all those who... There is a ranch on the northwest corner. There is a big silver shed there. All right. I was in there with one of the hired workers for the ranch, and we were on the workbench in the shed, and I was connecting some speakers in there so my dad can listen to music and all that, the Mexican, all that kind of stuff, well, whatever. And I was doing something on the back of the speaker, and we were facing the wall, working on the bench, and then him and I heard right behind us cowboy boots coming up. Like it was my dad was going to scare us. And together, both him and I turned around at the same time to go, ah! And nothing was there. And him and I looked at each other, and he in Spanish, he goes, see? And he said something else in Spanish, like, I told you this place is haunted. I told you. And I went, whoa. That was probably the first time ever that I have ever experienced anything like that. I mean, I know what cowboy boots sound like when walking on cement because I used to wear cowboy boots back in the days, and so did to this day, my dad still wears cowboy boots. So I know what they sound like. Dude, there were cowboy boots right behind us, probably 5 feet directly behind us, and we both turned around thinking that my dad was going to scare the crap out of us. And as soon as we turned around, it stopped, and man, that was awesome. That is
awesome.
It was awesome. I mean, I don't know who it was. I know there was somebody there, and whoever it was, they were wearing cowboy boots, and it was very cool.
There's a lot of history around here.
A lot of history.
So I mean, that's what makes it interesting. Like when she was talking about in Mariposa, the quartz and the gold,
right?
And that made me think of the ruins.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, there's like piles and piles and piles of quartz.
Right.
I remember we were talking about that.
Uh-huh.
You know, it just makes you go, yeah.
And you know, and I think Danny brought this up. The levee.
Yeah.
What if that levee was built to hold back the water
so that would
not flood? Whatever is there.
I think that's right.
Because there is so much money that was spent on that levee north of Fresno when there was nothing out there.
Nothing.
What would be the reason? The only reason, I mean, there was two reasons that we thought possibly is they wanted to hide whatever was behind there, or
they were protecting
the ruins from ever getting flooded. And if that's the case, then there's probably something else underneath that they did not want the flood.
Well, it goes back to the methane thing. What's underneath?
What's underneath?
You know? Like, I think a lot of that stuff was built to protect the underneath.
I think so too.
You know because what was it? One of our friends said he went in there, or his dad or somebody went in there and then found a tunnel.
The tunnel.
And came out in Pinedale.
Right.
Which is like 10 miles. I mean, he had to walk a long ways in the dark,
right.
But 7 miles, 8 miles.
Yeah, you guys, there's some crazy stuff happening here. Wow. What else? Okay, what else? I'm gonna tell you guys a secret. Let me think of one that I haven't told you guys yet. I'm thinking. Hold on. Wow. Let me think a little bit. I'm gonna go back to what Alex was saying about writing books. You know who hasn't written a book yet? James Fox.
Nope, but he's made some documentaries.
Right.
And I mean, that made him legit.
And and writing the books, it's because, like you said, the documentaries are stories. He's actually went to these people, and they've told him what happened.
And he doesn't, like, chop them up in the editing. In fact, he quit a show, because they were chopping up his stuff and not letting him tell the truth. And I think that I hold him up like higher than a lot of people because of that, his integrity compared to
I'm
others.
still trying to think of a secret I can tell you guys. Hold on.
Well, I've experienced some of those paranormal things. Like we had a 20-acre ranch in the hills, and it had 2 copper mines on it. At least they said it was copper mines, but all my kids will tell you they seen people there, like ghosts. Right. And then also it would be pennies would drop out of nowhere and hit you.
Pennies.
It would drop out of the sky, right out of like you're in the house, and all of a sudden you'd get hit with a penny, and there wasn't anybody there. And also it would thump you. It would be feeling like somebody walked up and went
Really?
Like that, and thump you in the back of the head or on the shoulder or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how many people, like even people that would come up and not even know anything, they're just visitors. They come up and get thumped and say, "Hey, somebody hit me," and when they turn around, there's nobody there. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of stuff like that.
I don't have a secret to tell you yet, but I noticed. Okay, north of Fresno. We were. It was yesterday or the day before yesterday, and I've seen this many times. But when you're going down on Herndon Boulevard, and let's say you're going west, and we were coming from Fowler Avenue, and you're on Herndon, and you go underneath the freeway to get on the 168, and you do the curve. As soon as you do that curve, there are
boulders,
those rock formations right there. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Okay. Look like a small little Stonehenge or whatever.
Right.
Right? And I just, I've noticed that nowhere else around Fresno do they have those, or do they?
I don't think so.
And that's just the only spot is like north of Fresno where all this crap happens. And then you have these rocks. And the reason why I brought that up is Outlander. There's a movie on HBO that I think you watched last time about how it was a set of rocks or stones that were standing up, and she touched it, and she went into another dimension, and it came back, back in the days.
She time traveled.
Time traveled right through a portal, and on those stones, and then all of a sudden you have those stones in a circular fashion right there at that underneath, right there at that turn on to get on the 168. For all those who don't know what I'm talking about, the next time you are there, take a look at that.
Somebody told me what those were for, and I can't remember, but it was a long time ago. But
I mean, they're just
big, huge, giant granite stones,
and they're standing up, and they're more like a I don't know, just to look piece.
There's a reason for it. Somebody told me. I asked.
Really?
Yeah. There's a reason.
Huh.
I can't remember what it is now. It represents something.
Really?
Yeah.
Who told you? Remember? You remember?
No. It was. I had a friend that worked for Caltrans, and I asked him because I didn't know about him. He was talking about it, right, and saying how they were setting these stones. It was after the freeway was done already.
Okay.
But not a long time after. Just a few months, and told me to, when I go by there, check out these boulders that they put in there.
Right.
And then he told me what it was, but I can't remember now. It was a long time ago, like probably 15 years.
15 years?
Something like that.
Okay, a secret I'll tell you guys really quick. And I think we've told it one time here, but it was a long time ago. It was, I think, before Ellen's time. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is because I was just there not too long ago because I work for the phone company. But anyways, a friend of ours, I think it was Ken Gentry, and we were driving with David Regosa one day up to the spot, like in 2009 or 8 or whatever. And Ken was saying that he was invited because he taught sheriff's officers how to track missing people. Mm-hmm. And Ken Gentry, and Matt, maybe we should get Ken Gentry to tell the story, but Ken Gentry was telling us that he was invited to a Christmas party there at the Department of Forestry on Shaw Avenue. I think that.
I remember this story.
Remember the story?
Yeah.
And he was there at the Christmas party, and every a lot of people there know Ken Gentry, and they know that he also is a big Bigfoot guy. And I think one of the head guys there was a little tipsy, a little drunk because it's Christmas Eve.
And retiring.
Oh, was he retiring?
Yeah.
I missed that. And he pulled Ken Gentry aside. He said, "Hey, come here. I want to tell you something. I want to show you something." And he brought Ken Gentry back someplace over there on Shaw Avenue in one of the buildings, and he opened the door, and there was a vault. And he opened the vault, and both of them walked in. And I don't remember the size, maybe 15 by 15. It wasn't that big.
Yeah, like a big walk-in closet.
And he said there was, Ken Gentry said there was file cabinets all around the wall with photographs all over the wall. And he says all these photographs were of Bigfoots. And the guy told Ken Gentry that all these file cabinets were photographs and reports of Bigfoots. And this is where all the information goes to.
And perfectly clear Bigfoots, not blob squatches. They're clear as a bell, he said.
Right. And he says,
from the, like, a long time, too.
Probably years and years, 100 years probably. And he says that's where they go. And when anybody gets a photograph, they take it to this vault. And he says this is where we keep all this stuff. And we know they exist, but we can't say anything. Now, but you didn't know that. Yeah, and then that
guy retired.
And that guy retired. I wonder if he's still alive because he said that.
Actually, you know, me and Ken Gentry talked about that. We were actually wanting to. Remember, we were going to make a trip over to the area where this place is, and I won't even say the place because I don't want to say.
You mean the valley?
The valley.
Yeah, but you have to hike in.
Right, and that
we
were going to use the trailer, and I was going to man the trailer. Remember, and we were going to use all the high technology.
Yeah.
Huh?
How many more minutes?
3.
We got 3 minutes left, guys.
You should be saying 2 minutes any minute.
Okay, we're almost done, guys.
Okay, just said 2 minutes.
2 minutes. So, but yeah, there is a valley somewhere up here that.
And supposedly, the forestry and government have been documenting Bigfoots. They know their habits. They have pictures of babies. They have movies, like films of them, and doing their daily activities. And perfectly clear, right? Perfectly clear. And he said he's seen all that stuff.
Yeah.
And he said that the only thing is there's motion sensors and everything to get in the valley.
Right.
So you're going to have to be sneaky.
Right.
Or you guys got to be sneaky.
Right.
And, you know.
Right. So
we're going to use some technology on them.
Right. So, okay, guys, I think we're almost out of here. I want to thank you guys for showing up wherever you may be.
Thanks for the calls.
Appreciate it.
Love the stories.
You know, next week I have no idea what we're going to talk about, but I get. Oh shoot, we are filming next Saturday.
Yep, we're filming. I forgot.
Saturday. No, but Sunday we're okay.
Okay.
I forgot. Okay, no, we're good. Next week we're good for next week. We're just filming some episodes on Saturday. So, so there you go. So, all right. Well, I appreciate everybody for showing up tonight. I hope you enjoyed our show. You know,
Thank you, Alex.
Every Sunday we try to do something different. Today was a ghost show. Next week I have no idea what it will be.
And thank you, Tom and
Tom and Jenny.
Jenny, yeah, thank you.
So again, thank you very much for showing up. And
I'll put your how to get that book on the YouTube site and our site.
Okay.
Sometime in the next day or two.
So.
We're still good.
We're still good. So just
keep
your eye on there. All right. So yeah. So again, if you guys have any questions or have any stories or some top secret information you want to tell me, give me a call on that 24-hour hotline, which is 559-287-8367. Give me a call wherever you may be, preferably when I'm awake and not asleep. But if the mothership is landing someplace at 2:00 in the morning, give me a call. I want to know. Thank you, guys. Take care. See you next week.
You have been listening to Paranormal Central with Jeffrey Gonzalez and Alan Thomas, broadcasting worldwide at paranormalcentral.net and on artbell.com. Stay tuned for next time. Remember to keep your eyes to the skies, and we hope you witness something you cannot explain.